So we got a lot to talk about tonight, and we are kind of on a time crunch to say the least, but we're not going to give you guys a half show. Oh no, we're going to give you guys a full show here on the Popcast Network. This is the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. We are doing go-home shows tonight for Backlash, for NXT TakeOver Chicago. We're going to talk about the Super Juniors, which just started yesterday. And we've got Smackdown. We got 205 Live, NXT, UFC. We're talking about the pay-per-view that just came down the pike recently. What Culture Pro Wrestling, as well as more from the entire wrestling world tonight. Plus, we're going to talk about the Ring of Honor TV tapings that just went down. So all this and more tonight on the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. My name is Owen. Welcome, Ashley.
Indeed.
Lots to talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we have to be the bearers of bad news today yet again. Pretty boy Doug Summers actually passed away yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only at the age of 65, relatively young.
That's crazy. I mean, I know Summers and his tag team with Playboy Buddy Rose and the feud they had with Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig in the AWA.
That's probably where I remember him from myself, just being on regular sort of spots. I think it was the Shawn Michaels stuff. Yeah, the Rockers when they
Midnight
had their
Rockers.
feud.
Yeah, the Midnight Rockers in the 86 through 87. It's really crazy. He was managed by Sherry Martel. He had his first pay-per-view match on Halloween Havoc 91, losing to Heavy Metal Van Hammer. You know, the guy whose only claim to fame is the fact he trained the Briscoes.
Something like that.
Pretty much. But yeah, we definitely wanted to issue our condolences to the family of Doug Summers and his friends right now. I mean, I was getting really worried that I was going to be talking about someone else I mentioned a little bit ago, but thankfully he's on the comeback trail right now. So get well soon, Scott Hall. Someone posted AWA star passes away, and I thought that there might be like an old time wrestling fan that just said Scott Hall, and I was like, I'm not ready for that. So, but it's a shame when any superstar passes away, especially somebody that's had a storied career like Doug Summers. Not many people really know him, but I mean, they know him outside of the AWA. But he's been around for quite a while. He started in 1972.
Mm-hmm.
Had his last pro match in 2011. So. We have to kick off the show with that. So, yeah. Rest in peace, pretty boy. So, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's talk about WWE. Obviously, we're on the road to a Backlash this Sunday. It is the pay-per-view that keeps giving other people opportunities that may or may not deserve them, depending on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what happened on Smackdown this week, Ashley.
Well, let's start with the important stuff because Kevin Owens is in the ring for the Kevin Owens highlight reel.
We know what that means.
It's a new and improved highlight reel with your new host, the new face of America, and your forever US champion, Kevin Owens. Because the reason he's taking over, because the former host will never, ever be seen again. Like, Nice job. That means we'll see him. We'll see him at Money in the Bank probably.
I'd say so.
And, Kevin says Chris was obsessed with all his scarves and his gifts and his lists, but the only list that Jericho's on now is the injured list, and that's because of me. What I did to Jericho, it's only a sneak preview of what's going to happen to Backlash and to AJ Styles. And then Kevin introduces AJ in French, and AJ comes out and says, you've stolen everything from Chris over the past year. I didn't think you'd go so far as steal his show. And Kevin's just like, no, I didn't steal anything from him. I can do anything that Chris does a heck of a lot better. How? I can beat you, AJ. I'd never have you on my show. And AJ's just like, look, my bad. I did terribly in high school French class. I'll say this in English because I can. This Sunday, I'm going to beat you for that title and bring it back to the good old US of A. We don't have to wait, though, until Sunday. We can do it now. Here comes Jinder, who says the Maharaja was supposed to be Kevin's guest tonight. And Kevin's just like, look, I'm sorry. AJ's just a typical rude American sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. And Jinder's like, I was going to talk about what I'm going to do in my match on Sunday. What happened last week on Smackdown will happen at Backlash. As they recap, Jinder pinning Orton. And you'll bow down at my feet when I'm WWE champ. And AJ's just like, you better focus on tonight first, or otherwise you might not make it to there. And then Jinder decides to peek in Punjabi. Basically, to find yourself, you got to lose yourself. Is this more Eminem lyrics? You'll find yourself in agony in battle. You'll lose, just like Randy Orton will lose at Backlash. And Kevin just adds, well, not only are you going to lose tonight, you're going to lose to me as well, AJ. So Kevin's on commentary for Jinder versus AJ, which is not too bad. Obviously, with thanks to distractions galore. Basically, the Sings guys distract the ref, so Owens hits AJ with a title belt. So Jinder wins with his Cobra Clutch Slam. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it's still like, I don't know why we're pushing this guy.
There's the political reason that I don't want to jump to, but I mean, it's WWE.
India!
Exactly. It freshens things up a little bit. I mean, it's not the guy I would push, clearly, but I mean, I got to give the guy credit. He was on the chopping block, and now they get rid of him, and when he resigns, he gets in the best shape of his career, and they take him seriously because Vince McMahon likes big men.
with an appearance like that, we can't take him seriously. Sort of the opposite.
Well, I mean, he's a serviceable wrestler. I'll give him that.
To some extent, yeah, but next month when we get Rusev, that to me is a more better caliber main event for Money in the Bank.
Well, what needs to happen is Randy needs to beat Jinder clean as a sheet, and then Rusev needs to jump him at the end of the night.
Probably. By the way, spoilers on that thing. There is no Rusev on this show.
Nope, he was at a hockey game.
Despite what was said last week. So important to him to get, a word with Shane that he decided to go to hockey.
Yeah, he had tickets for the Nashville Predators, so that was more important.
Speaking of, Lana's doing burlesque again. And then it's time for more of the fashion files.
Thank God.
And Fandango's looking at the board of all the failures, and the janitor enters. Fandango criticizes him, and it goes, "No, it's me, Tyler." And Fandango's like, "Wow, how's it been going with your undercover work?" It's like, well, here's these Baron Corbin shirts. Here's these Sami Zayn underpants. And look, they're the same color as credenza. Then there's an Uso shirt, and it's like, wonder what day one is H means. And Tyler's like, oh, the Usos are scary. Their hair is so well conditioned and luscious. We have no chance. And Fandango's like, calm down, son. You are a prince, Tyler. We'll win. And it will be our day one is H. And then, sort of 80s style, there's a high five freeze framed. Like, yep.
Yeah. Yes.
Why aren't these guys challenging Randy Orton? They're more believable than Jinder. No, and Orton's asked in the back about Jinder and says, look, Jinder thinks the people don't respect him because of how he looks or speaks. People don't like him because of his intolerance. They simply don't like him because he's an ass. No, roids. That's why we don't like him. If it comes out in some weird shape or form that he actually is on sort of enhancement stuff.
Oh my God, he's done.
Not only is he done, but the company might be done.
Oh, there's not going to be any wellness test for Jinder Mahal, trust me.
So now it's time for the Colons versus Breeze and Fandango. Which wasn't too bad, somewhat short. And does this mean Fandango did the deal?
Fandango did the deal.
Hey, it's not just you, Seth. You're not just the one that's doing the deals.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Fandango was doing the Falcon Arrow like way back in the day, but he never only used it as a transitional move.
And the Usos show up and say, you guys are doing just all this for the retreats. We're doing it for the belts. And they've been doing this since day one-ish. Still don't get that. And Jimmy's just like, this is not your precinct. And they sort of take it between them, and Jay goes, welcome to the Uso Penitentiary, where we make all the rules. Then Jimmy adds, you had the right to remain vicious. Well, sorry, we have the right to remain vicious. We'll put you in a gurney. Okay. Still, the day one-ish, I don't fucking get. Anybody can explain it? Please don't send it on a postcard, because fuck it.
WWE, I know you listen every once in a while. It's obvious. Give Fandango and Tyler Breeze the tag belts on Sunday, please.
So now it's time for a contract signing for a 6-woman tag match.
Why? What's the point to this?
I will leave that question in the air because I hope it's fucking rhetorical because I don't know.
Okay, good.
Shane's like saying Smackdown is WWE's top brand when it's going up against the bloody basketball playoffs. Nope. And apparently one of the major reasons is the women's division. They have some of the most athletically gifted women. So let's look at the list. Natalia? Yeah. Carmella? Nope. Tamina? Nope. Naomi? Yeah. Charlotte? Yes, but it's why the fuck is she still being pushed all the fucking time? And Becky Lynch. You know, even Sasha Banks is sort of on the undercard right now after all her title exploits. Yet Charlotte is immediately just has to be working 24/7, 365.
Right.
Whatever. Anyway, Natalia's like, look, it's so funny that you three are supposed to be BFFs. All I see is just a pathetic mess. You know, you had a chance to join us, Becky. It's too late. I can't wait to say I told you so. Because it'll be no different on Sunday, because they'll prove that the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. No. Just because you've got heart in your name does not mean you can just use Brett's fucking catchphrase. I mean, if we're being honest, it should be the best drugs there was, the best drugs there is, and the best drugs there ever will be for your family heritage.
Just as long as you don't mention TJ's name on television.
Yeah, as well. All this ammunition that we're just waiting to use. Sorry, Natalia.
It's not her fault.
No, but it will be. And Becky was just like, you know, I was given the chance, but I wouldn't join the goon squad. And Naomi says, stop focusing on the last few weeks. Just focus on Sunday. Because I'm going to snatch all three of you. Is that something different?
She's been saying it since she came back.
Because to me, snatches is the JJs.
It's slang terminology.
Yeah, for the JJs.
No, different kind of slang. It basically means I'm gonna grab you.
And Charlotte says, look, this welcoming committee has had an issue with me ever since I showed up. You know, you created your babysitter club. And you better be ready in Chicago. Because they'll solve all the problems. So are they in a different venue in Chicago? Or we actually are in Chicago for Backlash?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we're like outside of Chicago and like that's the reason why they're calling it Chicago. But I mean, I don't have that information right now. I can get it real quick. Give me a second.
Where's the WWE events thing? I'm pretty sure it was Chicago.
Well, it should be Chicago.
They wouldn't just do an NXT show in Chicago and have it sell out more than fucking Backlash.
Not NXT now, sadly. It's gonna be in Rosemont, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago.
In the Allstate?
That is correct.
So it is the same venue.
Yep.
I was gonna say. But then, of course, Charlotte says, after we're done, I'm going for the title. Brilliant. So she isn't face. And, of course, Ellsworth had to speak up and says, look, Shane, I appreciate you helping a brother out. What? Becky longingly gazes at me, but I prefer to put some wire on the straight fire because she's got no chance in hell. Charlotte's got no chance to be, I won't be your king, Charlotte, because I'm Prince to the Princess. And then says Carmella will stop Naomi's flow, take the title, and steal the glow. And of course, then it means that we get a match between Carmella and Naomi.
Dear God, why?
Which just had interference fucking galore, at least for the finish. Because Ellsworth got sent to the back. Then fucking Natalia and Tamina get sent to the back. So when they do, they attack Charlotte and Becky. Naomi tries to help out, but then Carmella rolls her up for the 3 count. So we're already making this women's division look fucking terrible. Great job. We're still hyping New Day coming back to SmackDown. Whatever. So now it's Dolph saying, I never understood all this hype behind Nakamura. Last week I said he was an OB and a fraud, but I did my homework and research. I'm going to show all the more remarkable things he's done. Then there's a video that just says footage not found. I guess they didn't do the black screen thing because people would think it's a bloody technical fail. And Dolph said, look, he's done nothing. I've done everything. And then we get a full-on video package for Dolph as if he's retiring. It's not something that we don't want to see. Everyone's looking forward to Nakamura's match. And Dolph says, I'm looking forward to spitting in the faces of all those hypocrites when I beat him. So then we got Sami Zayn, who says, I've got a match with Baron Corbin at Backlash. Why the fuck is this happening again?
I want them to do something with Sami Zayn more than make him look like a total geek every week.
And Sami says, look, I don't know why Baron's targeted me. He must be afraid of me because I'm a constant reminder that he's not dominant. And what happens when he faces someone that he can't keep down? It's all a threat to his ego. Then Corbin attacks him from behind and says, stay down. And if you do show up on Sunday, you're getting put down permanently. So then we get Corbin and Orton. Not too bad. Probably the strongest match of them all. So it means Corbin actually is coming on good.
That's good.
Orton managed to hit the RKO for the win. Looked strong. Then Jinder showed up and said, relish this win, Randy, and savor all this time with the title because on Sunday I destroy everything, your pride, your body, and your future. So then the Sings attack Orton. Orton takes him out. Hits a double DDT off the ropes on the Sings, but then Jinder comes in, attacks him from behind, hits him with the Cobra Clutch Slam. And he looks strong as we go off the air. Thank fuck he's not winning now.
Yeah.
If he does, I'm sorry, Vince, but fuck off. Go ahead and die. Because it's clearly your fault.
Well then.
And it's not because of his race.
No.
It's because I've got a feeling if it comes out and he has been, it doesn't even have to be roids. If he is using some sort of questionable supplement,
right,
that they would, that you get picked up for on UFC and everything. And you're trying to say that you're, entertainment just like those guys are, even though you're not trying to say you're sports entertainment, which is weird because everything you do, you always try and treat it as a sporting event. It's going to, I'm not trying to compare it to the FBI president situation right now, but if it goes wrong, that bit of nitro and that bit of glycerin put together, and you don't treat it properly, it's gonna fucking explode. Just the question is, who's going to light the fuse? I think this is a perfect time to bring up the great publicity by Drew Gulak.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because backstage at the tapings last night, well, certainly for 205 Live, even though it probably was live. It was recorded anyway, even though it was live. Whatever.
It was live at the time, but not on television.
Yeah. The no-fly zone got a new member, and that was Randy Orton. This sort of sprung up from the fact that he did some weird sort of like Twitter tirade and whatever in terms of all these indie workers doing flippy shit and having not very good careers. And like, it went so bad as sort of like low key basically called him out for a fight. Not on the wrestling terms, just like in an actual sort of street, a la Rocky V. Like, man, rub people up the wrong way.
It's pretty bad.
The irony is when AJ beats him for the world title, it's like, well,
that's going to be great.
That does tie into 205 Live, though, because there was some Gulak stuff. The show actually opened with Aries being interviewed and says, look, I know what you're going to ask me, Kayla, because I'm pretty sure it was her. You're going to ask me how I'm going to fare against TJP tonight, and says, look, in all effect, he isn't really his associate. He's more of his lapdog. So, TJ will never get that title match that he keeps being sort of beckoned on by Neville. Good knee, no knee, bad knee, 3 knees, whatever. He won't be at the A double level. Then we get into the matches. First up, Dar versus Metalik. Pretty good match. Of course, Dar gets the win because Metalik's on a losing streak. A good old kick in the leg and then the running round kick for the win. Pretty good. Then they talk about Cesaro and Kendrick and everything. And next week, those two are going to be in a street fight in Atlanta. Interesting. And then Kendrick's interviewed about this street fight, and he says, look, my plans are suited to a T. There's no countouts. There's no DQs. And not everything does go according to plan. I didn't plan on Cesaro being disrespectful or stubborn. I didn't expect to see him so infatuated with the fans. And to be honest, next week might be the end of Akira's 205 Live dreams. Wait, does this mean Akira Tozawa's Dude Love? Bit confused. So now it's time for the rematch for some reason with Nice and Ali. Except before Ali can even get to the ring, Gulak attacks him, clotheslines him, gives him a boot, throws him into the barrier at the ringside, into the ring post. And Gulak says, "Look, your risks don't pay off. I'll make an example of you." Then Nice pulls down his knee pad, hits the running knee on Ali. And then Drew says, "You and everyone will see that 205 Live is a no-fly zone." All of a sudden, I recognize what they're doing here. No-fly zone signs against a guy who's very proudly Muslim. It's that veiled fucking racism, innit, Vince?
Good God.
Gulak's better than this.
Yeah.
Then again, it is a good angle, at least with the Randy Orton stuff. I'm hoping that isn't the shit that is going, because to be honest, if you think about Nice, he flies as well. So there's a bit of an issue there.
Just a little bit.
And also, I'm pretty sure Gulak's friend Orange Cassidy, and to some extent Chuck Taylor, might take offense at this stuff. While smiling and going, "God damn it, he's worked Ashley as well." It's weird. Just because of this one thing with Orton now, this angle sort of might have been rescued. Real life rescues the shitty storyline. And then it's time for Swan. Asked about Dar and Fox. And Swan says, "Look, I want to just get away from them as fast as possible." And Swan's given a box. And he's like, "Well, I'm not Richard Swan, so it's clearly not for me." And then Daivari shows up and says, "It's got to be my sunglasses. But this isn't labeled for me." And Gallagher shows up randomly and says, "Well, okay, I'll check what's inside it." And Daivari's like, "No! Get your hands off of this delivery." And Daivari opens it and it sprays powder in his face. And then TJP versus Aries. I can't say this is good because I'm sick of seeing this fucking match. The sad thing is, it was good.
Well, yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, it's just that, like, do I have to keep seeing it? I think this is what, the third time in about 6 weeks?
Pretty much.
In some shape or form? Hell, it might even be the fourth time if you include tag matches. Like, jeez. Of course, we get a smart ass finish. TJ going for the detonation kick. Aries holds onto the ropes. Sunset flips into last chancery. TJ taps. Aries wins. Then Neville shows up, attacks Aries' injured leg, and goes to wrap it on the ring post and gives him a heel hook. But then Gallagher shows up to make the save and headbutts Neville. Are we actually doing that just to sort of explain what the shit's going to happen on the NXT tour?
It's very possible.
Because it seems to be that NXT tour, at least for that week, straight after Extreme Rules, which I don't know how exhausted they're going to be after that. Then again, I'm guessing Neville and that will probably still be on Monday and Tuesday. It's probably some of the later shows, like the the download ones, and then the Monday show that they'll be doing stuff. And that's 205 dead.
Anything happen on Talking Smack this week?
Because Jinder Mahal was on it, I boycotted it. Because I think the fact that they just pushed him way too quickly, way too soon with this gimmick, I just don't feel right about it. If you had time to build the gimmick of, this Maharaja feeling offended because of his money and his status and everything,
I got you.
It'd be good. The fact it's like 1 week he just goes from somebody that nearly, ended Finn Balor's career to number one contender, and suddenly this rich boy with Dalton Castle's boys just glammed up. It's like, okay.
I see where you're coming from.
It could be worse. It could be Impact.
Oh, boy.
That may be a segue.
It actually is.
Yeah. I don't want to say anything bad about Seidel, Conley, Xavier, or Everett in the opening match here, but it's just the usual flippy shit. And, there was way too much to happen for me to cover of this. It was still good, but
right.
It was still good, but it's like, I'm pretty sure that these X Division guys can do more than just this. They can do the flippy shit, but just so much flippy stuff. Flying head scissors on everybody just as a combo.
Right.
Conley gets flying head scissors by Seidel. Then Seidel gets head scissors by Everett. Then Conley, head scissors Everett himself. Then Xavier is just way too much stuff to focus on properly.
This is a match
Everett did get the win.
Calling live.
Everett did get the win with the Frankensteiner on Desmond.
Yep.
Then, of course, we got the shit with Josh Matthews and Pope and Borash again. So, EC3 is backstage. It's like, I'm not surprised that Storm didn't show his face, but don't worry, you will be seeing the Cowboy tonight. Kevin Matthews is back, gets a pizza delivered, and doesn't pay the guy because he never ordered a pizza. Then, of course, it's the whole "you calling me a liar, make like a tree, and fuck off." The problem with this country now is people need to learn how to do their jobs. Christ. He's fucked already. We're making him into a sideshow. And so James Storm's music hits, and EC3 comes out looking like he's auditioning for Magic Mike 3.
Yeah, this got an interesting reaction live for sure. Cowboy 3 got a huge reaction from the live crowd.
Twirls his bull rope around and says, "This county's got a new sheriff, and his name is Cowboy 3.
I love every second of this live.
Sons that come from Boca Raton, sunflowers, sunshine. Of a son of a bitch named EC3. I rode up here on my trusty steed Sebastian
Yet.
Sebastian Suave? Oh, no?
Oh God, I thought that reference too. I don't feel so bad now. Sorry, Suave.
I know what the women are thinking. This cowboy's butt is driving you crazy.
This
But
isn't the only crazy thing
I'm
EC3
not
does.
here for the girls. I'm here to pay homage to the coward James Storm. And I know he spilled a few tears in his beer, and look, I'm sorry, but this town ain't big enough for the both of us. As you depart this land like Shane did into the sunset, I want you to remember, James, I'm a crooner too. And I've got a little ditty I'm going to sing. And start singing about ruining the title match, smashing a beer bottle over his head. And then Storm's music plays again. Storm shows up from the crowd, sneaks up behind EC3, beats him up, stomps on his hat, beats her down further on EC3. Then they sort of do some... EC3 sort of gets the upper hand, handcuffs Storm to the middle rope, takes his belt off, and I think... who did the song? I'm trying to remember.
It was a parody of Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places.
No, not that. Who did the song called Whip It?
Devo.
Devo, yeah. EC3 was channeling Devo because he whipped that shit.
Oh my God! When he whipped Pat Kenny and Pat Kenny shot him a look like you're dead if you hit me one more time.
And yeah, but Storm's back was going purple.
That looked nasty.
That was... If you want to do a promo, you must whip it.
Hey, I was there. I saw it with my own two eyes live. So yeah, I know what you mean.
See, this storyline is just getting even better.
I know.
Because EC3 is just like an arrogant prick now, who's basically turning sort of into Taz or something, or Sandman. It's like, if I don't get my way, I'm gonna beat shit up. It's like, yes.
Well, Ashley, I'm sure you probably don't recall, but there is one more EC3 strange thing he does during these sets of tapings.
Oh, when he murders Bruce Pritchard.
Well, that's part of it. That's the end of it.
That isn't strange.
No.
That isn't strange. It's a standing ovation.
I'm referring to when he has the live band.
Oh God,
that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and I still can't explain what that.
How do you spell copy and gimmicks, Owen? JARRAT. Yeah.
Fair point.
So it's time for a match in this GFW tag title tournament thing.
I can't explain how this match tournament works.
In basically about a couple of minutes, Garza and Laredo Kid win. It's like, wow, we're doing squash matches for the tournament? Way to say how good the fucking tag division is. The weird thing is, Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid are good.
Yeah,
Zane and Abram were okay.
They're decent.
Why did they just give it 2 minutes, though? Like, who knows? We then see them later backstage after the break, I guess. And it says they're going to represent their families in Mexico as the best tag team anywhere. And nothing can stop them. Spoilers, they get stopped. Can't remember. Probably LAX because of the whole Mexico thing. Oh no. And then Pope's talking about making Impact Wrestling great again. He already is. Those fucking glasses for like $1 on bloody Impact's shop. They're the same as Johnny Mundo's. So if
yeah,
if,
they pretty much are.
you know, if John Morrison is coming to your show, buy the fucking glasses for I think it's like $2 a pair. Sell them for $5 at a show that John Morrison's at. Profit. It's brilliant. So then we get Laurel Van Ness versus Ava Story. So yeah, Laurel comes in sort of looking drunk. Story goes for a schoolgirl as if it's bloody, I agree, Sting and Jeff Hardy. But Laurel kicks out, then spears her, bulldogs her, yanks Ava up via her hair, and says, "I'm going to kill you." Boots her in the face, hits her with a curb stomp on the back, and that's it. Then keeps attacking her afterwards. And Earl Hebner's just like, "Come on." And then Congo is like, what's this? Why are you messing with my girl? And Hebner's just like, "Oh, fuck," and runs off. And so now we've got Spud back in the hospital in a wheelchair with a neck brace, thinking about, when he pulled Swoggle's pants down and then got beat to death with a hammer. And tries to drink water for a straw, but spills the drink on the floor and just lays down since he can't reach it. I don't get it. It's annoying. You can have good stuff like the EC3 stuff, and then you do this weird shit that nobody gives a shit about, because how the fuck is Swoggle still relevant in 2017?
Okay, so it's super bizarre because it starts off with Swoggle was just walking through the crowd and slapping hands. And then it basically degenerates to him just showing up in the crowd every once in a while during the matches. And the next thing you know, he just jumps Spud and just kills him dead. Mm-hmm. They've got to be. They're going to have a match at Slammiversary. Mark my words.
Yeah, whatever will be good.
I didn't say it was going to be good. I said they're going to have.
So apparently LAX are in Conan's lowrider with their faces painted like decay.
They look like the dead presidents.
Takers. And Conan's like, "Look, this is going to be hard. Let's do this." And so the LAX entrance becomes a funeral procession with piano music, gunshots, of course, because, blah, blah. And Conan says, "Look, it's a somber moment because of our fallen comrade's decay. Screw it, let's pour the ashes out and smoke them." Okay. So the ashes of decay are actually marijuana?
No, you could smoke anything, apparently. That's what I've been told.
One guy's in a coma, the other's on a breathing tube. I'm trying to work out which is fucking which.
You said this when I talked about these results originally.
Yeah, but I still am perplexed as to whether Crazy Steve's in the coma or he's on the breathing tube.
Well, don't forget what the specific wording was. The specific wording was a clown in a coma. Crazy Steve is definitely the clown.
Considering Joseph Park, I don't know.
I don't know how Joseph Park's eating out of a tube, but okay.
He's in a match with Scott Steiner. He's going to fucking need one.
You know, that's going to be a fun match to see live. I'm not going to lie.
Oh. All that stuff, it should be a warning to any team that gets in their way. So we're going to get into this GFW tag title tournament so we can double up. It's about a Latino nation and Latino empowerment. And then some bloke in the front row who the notes I've got here says looked an awful lot like the production guy that EC3 beat the shit out of.
I can't completely confirm that, but you are probably correct.
He's got the American flag, and Conan says, Yankee Doodle Cracker. Sit down because the flag is like toilet paper to me. And again tells him to sit his bitch ass down. So Conan goes and shoves at him, and then here come the volunteers of war.
Veterans
Stand
of
up
war.
for America. And I'm going, wait, you think Crimson's the face of America? Kevin Owens is a better face of America, and he's a fucking American.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I don't like this gimmick, and I'm telling you right now, they better thank their lucky stars that Adam Thornstowe got hurt, because this would be Reno Scum's spot. Easily.
So now it's time for Moose versus Marche Roquette, which is somewhat of a squash match, even though it does go into the second round. Moose wins the first round, mainly because Rocket basically, for the second half of the thing, did nothing.
Yep.
And then, of course, Moose just hits him with a sit-out chokeslam. So another X Division guy got buried. Brilliant.
Yeah, go to hell was the finish.
So Tyra shows up. Of course, to lead to the distraction when Eli Drake attacks Moose from behind. So then Chris Adonis shows up and then puts Moose in the Adonis lock. This is all building apparently from some show that isn't even Global Force Wrestling or Impact related.
It's Border City. It's Scott Demore's promotion in Canada.
So yeah. Apparently Eli Drake, Tyrus, and Adonis are a team. Because, WWE. Fuck.
You know how Taz used to refer to his source, Joey Bag of Donuts? Joey Numbers? That's what Chris Adonis comes out looking like here.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
That's the first thing I thought whenever I saw it. I was like, wow, I think I know what Joey Bag of Donuts really looks like now.
As it says in the notes here, we've had 2 run-ins from the crowd, a planted fan in the crowd, and 2 segments of Borash interfering in the crowd. So who gives a fuck about the wrestling? The crowd is important. Despite the fact it's only, 300 people?
Give or take. Probably a little bit more, actually. Go
ahead.
For Bound for Glory, I know there was a lot more than 300 in there.
Yeah. So Mackenzie's talking with Dutch and says, I've opened everything up to the fans to hear what they wanted, and they overwhelmingly said the X Division. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, but we want to see the X Division done good. So it's going to be Ultimate X Trevor Lee, Andrew Everett, and Low Key. Spoilers, this is how Everett is out for 4 months because of injury.
Yep.
So, what a great job the X Division is. So now it's time for Angelina Love versus Alicia. Which wasn't too bad for what it was given, but just basically we've got the ropes going into dicks, chairs, just I don't know. The fact that it started as if it was a cat fight as well. Like, wait. Angelina can fucking wrestle. Alicia can fucking wrestle.
Right.
Why are we doing a cat fight gimmick? And of course, the Edwardses get massacred because, Eddie tries to make the save, but nope. And of course, Angelina Love and Davey Richards kiss. Give me Woody Harrelson any day. And
yeah, Mickey and Mallory.
Woody Harrelson in that film?
Juliette Lewis.
Wow.
Mickey and Mallory, they are not.
What's that? Yeah, but they're Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently. Bobby Lashley saying he's collecting titles since he's been here, so now it's time for the GFW title to be collected. So then we get the title match between Magnus and Alberto, which was a very good match.
Yes.
Both look good. And of course, the most important thing is that the guy who's held the belt for so long and is actually, should be on a push because he's back in the company, gets buried because the WWE guy wants it. Keep in mind, I think now, apart from, well, I guess Moose isn't WWE related.
No.
And the tag guys are, but Low Key is.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of your prominent storylines on the entire show are involving people that have been in WWE. Even fucking Laurel. And I guess to some extent Edwards and Richards.
Well, I mean, they did do that one NXT match.
No, it was only a one-off NXT. But yeah, you've got some good matches. You got some average ones. You got some good storylines. I still love this EC3 Storm stuff.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, some of the other stuff, like, why is Laurel still drunk? Because we're getting to the point where it's like, if she keeps showing up drunk, this is going to be a great advert in Canada when they have it on straight before, like, the whole be sober and don't get pulled over sort of stuff.
Right.
That I've been seeing, because obviously most of the stuff that I'm seeing is the Canadian feed.
Correct.
Because the person that is providing the stuff for me to be able to see live is probably in Canada.
I'd say so.
But obviously you see it as well with the American feeds, and Owen can attest to this, when they do the whole, normally around Thanksgiving and the holiday season, that's where they literally say it's like, don't be sober, stay sober or get pulled over or something like that. But yeah, it's another mixed bag. Impact should be better overall, and it's just some bits where it's like, yeah, they hit it out the park, and other times it's like, it's not even strike free, it's that the player got tested positive for drugs midway through the match.
Well then. This moves us on to UFC. What happened on the pay-per-view, Ashley?
We'll get to that first, yeah. Because, holy shit, it got interesting the day before. So, the big pay-per-view in Dallas. The one thing to note, it was supposed to be on, I think, the extra preliminary card. Or, no, actually, sorry, no, it was on the FX preliminary card. It was supposed to be Jared Jordan taking on Michelle Quinones. But Jared Gordon pulled out on the day of the weigh-ins because of stomach illness or food poisoning, whatever. So basically, the fight completely got called off. So that's another fight gone. So basically in total, this only had 12 fights on it instead of, I think, like the 14 it was supposed to have, I think. So on Fight Pass, in the light heavyweights, Gazimurad Antigulov beat Joachim Christensen with a rear naked choke submission midway through the first. And then two matches that went to unanimous decision. And the featherweights, Enrique Barzola beat Gabriel Benitez. And Courtney Casey beat Jessica Aguilar in the women's strawweight. Then on the FX prelims, James Vick beat Marco Polo Reyes. Marco. That's the wrong way around. Midway through the first via TKO. Midway through the second, Chase Sherman beat Rashad Coulter with a damn sweet elbow knockout. Then with the featherweights. Oh, something to note about Sherman and Coulter's match. Sherman, after his win, was gesturing to the people in charge and saying, I better be getting 50,000 for that. You'll find out what happened later on. Considering when most people do that, it's like, yeah, no. Jason Knight beat Chaz Skelly via TKO very early on into the third and final round. And then the main event got interesting because Alvarez and Poirier went to a no contest because it was judged that Alvarez hit some knees on Poirier's head, which was adjudged by Herb Dean, the official, to be down on the mat. Even though I think there was only one leg down, and certainly some people looked at it and thought, they weren't sure as to whether it should have been called a no contest. But it has. That's the way it's going to stand. No overturning it or anything. So I guess we're having a rematch soon, probably. And then with the main card, with the middleweights, David Branch beat Krzysztof Yoko via split decision. 2 gave it 29-28 to Branch. 2-1 in terms of the scores. Frankie Edgar beat Yair Rodriguez via doctor stoppage at the end of the second round. The doctor deemed Rodriguez not in great shape. Probably makes sense because Edgar made him look like a piece of meat that Rocky beat the shit out of in the Rocky films. Not great. Another split decision, 29-28, 2-1, went to Damian Maia, beating Jorge Masvidal. Then in the women's strawweight, a match which on paper seemed to be pretty close between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Jessica Andrade, was anything but, because the judges gave it 50-45, 50-45, and one even gave it 50-44. So, yeah. Joanna seems to be unbeatable in that division. This is ridiculous. And then the main event, Stipe Miocic, within a couple of minutes of the first round, manages to TKO Dos Santos. Miocic retains. Who he's up against next, I'm not entirely sure. In terms of the bonuses, performance of the night went to Miocic for that main event win, as well as Jason Knight for his TKO in the prelims. And the fight of the night went to Chase Sherman and Rashad Coulter. So apparently you can say, I want $50,000 and get it. Amazingly. Before I get to the interesting stuff, which isn't to say that the Bellator show isn't interesting, because it is going to be at Wembley Arena in London and will be airing live in the UK on television, and I'm guessing probably live, possibly on Spike in America. If not, certainly probably on tape delay as if it was at the usual time. There were supposed to be a couple of other fights. Stav Economou was supposed to be facing Carl Everington, but the bout got cancelled. And Michael Page was supposed to be taking on Derek Anderson in the co-main, but Page suffered a knee injury, so it got pulled off. So the 5 fights are on the card. Kevin Ferguson Jr. takes on DJ Griffin, followed by Dan Edwards versus Alex Lahore, both from the welterweight division. Then in the heavyweights, Sheik Kongo faces Augusto Sakai. The co-main sees Liam McGeary face Linton Vassell in the light heavyweights. And then the welterweight fights, Rory McDonald makes his return to London. I don't know whether that's his. I think it's his second fight in Bellator since the new deal that he signed with him. He's going to be taking on Paul Daly. There's obviously I think 7 or 8 or 9 more prelim and post-lim matches as well, but they probably won't get any coverage anyway, or not much of it anyway. So then we get to the biggest story of the week, and that's the press conference. I mean, wow. So they announced Jones and Cormier officially. They're still not saying whether it's the main event, so who knows? But their fight will be coming on the 29th of July at UFC 214. And they still don't like each other. Although interestingly, when they did all the pose downs and everything, Cormier, who was previously getting booed, was getting a mixed reaction, and Jones, who was previously getting cheered, was getting booed. So yeah, the heel in this storyline is getting sort of cheered. Where have I heard this before?
I wonder.
Also, Jose Aldo will be facing Max Holloway in a few weeks. I think in Brazil. I think that match is for the vacant featherweight title, which is interesting because bloody McGregor's apparently said somewhere on social media, play with the fake belts all you want. Somebody's got to take the belts off me physically. But it's like you didn't want to be in that division anymore, so okay. It looks as if Bisping is going to be facing Yoel Romero because the deal with GSP fell through. The weird thing is it looks like it might not fall through. I guess it's whatever the agreement is. The big thing, though, was one of actually the side shows. I don't know whether it was supposed to be the main event, But 25th of June in Oklahoma City, it was going to be Kevin Lee taking on Michael Chiesa. The thing is, they were talking and whatever, and Kevin Lee said, I bet your mom will be at the show and whatever to see, her boy get beaten up. And Chiesa was just like, don't you fucking talk about my mom. And then they literally sort of like jumped from the opposite sides of the stage where they were, and Kevin Lee actually landed in a punch. And then they had to be split apart and taken off stage. The great thing is, Michael was taken off stage and was clearly frustrated and everything because of what happened. And Lee was there like, man, be good, now I can keep talking. And like the security were going, yeah, can you leave the stage, please? And he's like, oh, I'm continuing on with the press conference. And no, can you leave the stage, please? Like, well, there you go. So then, of course, we get the thing which started up on Ultimate Fighter. Because apparently Cody Garbrandt, the champ, tried to throttle his opposite trainer, TJ Dillashaw, who, of course, are former teammates. They're fighting each other now as part of the weekend, the Independence. It's not Independence Day weekend because it's like 7th, 8th, and 9th from what I remember, but that's a thing. But the issue is that apparently Garbrandt suffered a back injury and is getting treatment for it in Germany. So the interesting thing is, though, that if it can't happen, Dana White did float the idea of Dillashaw possibly facing Demetrius Johnson instead. That could be interesting. Also for UFC 213 as well in the 8th of July, Amanda Nunes taking on Valentina Shevchenko. They had a pretty interesting face-off themselves. Also, interestingly, Joanna, even before she had her fight this weekend, seems to be indicating that she wants to be part of the women's flyweight division because that's naturally where her weight is. So, I mean, it's interesting that you've got women coming down from the bantamweight and women coming up from the strawweight. It's as if the flyweight now is actually going to be like the ultimate one in terms of women from both divisions actually getting to sort of beat the shit out of each other. The interesting thing to note, they obviously haven't announced the dates for this, but the UFC is going to be in Poland. I think it's the 21st of October. So if you want to do a proper homecoming, Joanna could headline that. Whether it'll be for the title or not, who knows? There's going to be a UFC fight night in Glasgow on the 16th of July with Joanne Calderwood, the hometown or the home country girl, I guess. We're facing Cynthia Cavillo in the co-main. And then also Stockholm in a couple of weeks, we'll be getting the main event of Gustafsson and Glover Teixeira, which should be interesting. I think those are the only big ones that I can remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that. Oh, the other thing as well, when the press conference was happening with Jones and Cormier, Jones kept saying how he was on drugs and he still beat Cormier's ass. So yeah, that was a fun Friday. And a lot of people noted this made the UFC look more like wrestling than wrestling is right now. Irony much? Let me just see if there's anything in terms of news that came through today. If I can see as well. Scroll down. Wow, Roy McDonald saying that he's making less in sponsorship money in Bellator than he did in UFC, so he's being very selective with his endorsements. And Alvarez has responded to Poirier, in terms of that controversial sort of no contest, basically saying the next fight will be their rematch. So he's up for it, at least. He's not trying to get out of it. So that'll be it for now.
All right, and now we move on to What Culture Pro Wrestling.
Simple. There is no news. I have no results from the Canadian stuff. Also, we don't report them anyway until they get shown. I think it's being put up this weekend, but I don't know. They haven't really said a date. They've got the Edinburgh show that I think we talked about last week. Coming next weekend, May 25th. Actually, next Thursday, May 25th. And then after that, you've got those sets of loaded shows and whatever over June, July, and into sort of early August.
So we
on top of that, of course, you got the German World Cup stuff July 2nd, and then the Japan qualifiers co-produced, I guess, from Rev Pro on July the 7th.
All right. Well, then that means we're going to move right into NXT, the go-home show for TakeOver.
I'm trying to think which match opened this.
It was Drew McIntyre against Sean Maluta.
Oh, squash match.
Maluta made a huge clerical error. He got heat on Drew early, and he basically busted his eye open with forearms, and pretty much just sealed his fate right there.
That's nasty.
Yeah, he just destroyed him, hit him with the Claymore, and beat him in 3 minutes. Nothing to this, really. But I will say that it's after the match, it sets up McIntyre against Wesley Blake next week.
Well, sort of.
Well, no, it sets that up. I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's what it sets up.
Well, no, because it's obviously going to be recorded in Chicago.
Right.
That's going to be the pre-show for everybody in the All-State.
Correct.
Along with apparently Aleister Black.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Something. Yay!
We'll try to get a card later if we can. So we see what happened last week with Hideo Itami defeating Roderick Strong to become the #1 contender to Bobby Roode's NXT Championship. And then after we went off the air, Sanity attacked Roderick Strong. So Roddy's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I issue a challenge to Sanity. And Eric Young basically says, you know what? We don't take requests. We're not on your time. We're on ours. But we'll see you at TakeOver. So we're going to get Eric Young versus Roderick Strong at TakeOver. Yes, please. Good video package for Hideo Itami. They do a video package on Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, their UK Championship match back in January. They showcased that, and then basically setting up their match at TakeOver this Saturday.
Should we mention here the important news?
Go ahead.
One, I don't know why I'm getting so hay fevery or whatever in terms of my nose. I apologise for that. But two, Jim Ross is actually doing commentary on this one.
Yeah, Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness will be your commentators for that match.
So they're keeping the continuity up from. So JR's in Chicago, everybody. Woo, fun times.
That's gonna make Tom Phillips look terrible.
Probably.
Even if he's on top of his game, it's still gonna make it be like, why is Jim Ross not calling all these matches? We get another Velveteen Dream Patrick Clark video package. And I think I realize what Patrick Clark is. He's Wayne's World's version of Jimi Hendrix, mixed with the artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea, and a little bit of Dalton Castle thrown in for good measure.
So what he's trying to say is not original.
Patrick Clark could probably be a character on the Chappelle Show. That's what comes to mind.
Fuck your couch.
Yes, exactly. Another video package for Hideo Itami. Asuka gets interviewed. She basically doesn't answer anything, and she takes pictures with the fans.
I can tell that they recorded that.
Oh yeah, you totally can.
Weeks before, but they suddenly dubbed over. Hey, Asuka, what do you think about your female? It's like,
And
yeah, I bet he said four-way when you were actually in the car.
Yeah. Then we get a match with the NXT Women's Division.
Is it me? Were you watching off the network, Owen?
Of course I was.
Was it me? Or was this match on 150% speed?
That it was going way too fast?
Entrances were going too fast. Moves were going too fast. Everything was going too fast. And not too furious.
I don't like Macy Estrella at all. I mean, she needs a lot of work. I don't like the garters she wears. It's just awkward and weird. Like the leggings, the fishnets. I never liked Daria Baronetto. I don't understand the point, but I mean, it's going to take a while to get either of them ready. This match should probably not have been on television.
And to think that fucking Kairi Hojo and Io Shirai are coming to the company. All these other wrestlers that aren't wrestlers, like Sonya and Lacey, are fucked.
Well, we've got a commentary in chat from Daniel Price. He says they're trying way too hard to make Asuka Goldberg.
No. Notice how much they... How? How many times have they mentioned how many matches Asuka's won?
Right.
They haven't. If anything, they're stealth Goldberging her.
I mean,
is it good?
They also, Daniel goes on to say, that's what they do nowadays. They keep everything going so fast to distract people from all the nonsensical tripe. People have such short attention spans, all the bells and whistles distract.
I honestly think it's because they only had so much time, and if they played it at normal time, the match wouldn't have fit into the schedule.
And the crowd didn't care about it whatsoever.
Because if you look at the amount of video packages we had tonight, holy shit!
I know, but this is a go-home show for a takeover.
15 minutes. If you cut out some of those, you might have been able to have that match normal pace, but just And also note that it was only this match that went on bloody fast play.
Right.
The rest of it was at normal speed. So I think it's just because of the match in terms of what they did with, putting in other video packages and whatever. Making everybody that's epileptic having a fucking seizure and dying because of the one song that, what was it? Anti-Pesto or whatever it is. Not the Fozzy one, the other one. Because I was watching in the dark, I was basically watching in bed, sort of stuff. And obviously I just need the tablet on. I don't need any lights or anything. And I thought I was having a rave with the amount of the screen fucking... I had to literally close my eyes, even though I don't get... The strobing was that bad. And normally I'm not that bad with strobing. But I had to close my eyes and it's, or look away. And the room just looked like it was fucking 1992 at Gatecrasher. And everybody's on ecstasy. If you're wondering how I know about that, where in 1992 I would have been 3 years old, I'm just guessing. I've seen Train Spotting. I've seen Human Traffic. Some crazy shit.
Let's talk about something good, though.
Is this the bit that I think it is?
Yeah, where Chris Hero versus Andrade Cien Almas.
No, that isn't the good bit. The good
yes,
bit
it is.
That somehow fucking Nigel manages to bloody eagle in.
Oh, God.
Needle into the commentary again. Inga Noble.
Inga Noble, and he also says that Cassius Ohno ain't nothing to mess with.
So he's shooting on both the independents in terms of Hero and CMLL.
Pretty much.
Nice. At this rate, Nigel McGuinness ain't nothing to fuck with.
No lie. See how many times Ambrose has been using his move lately, so there you go.
Probably.
Good stuff here. Not surprising whatsoever. So, basically, Ohno ends up hitting the Cyclone Kill for a near fall. Heads up top for a moonsault, but he misses. Almost gets the heat on him. And basically almost gets caught with numerous forearms. They fight on the top rope. Almost gets knocks back to the canvas. Hits the cartwheel kick. Almost with a shotgun knee. Sets up the hammerlock DDT, the El Sombra. Ohno fights it off. Almost hits a tornado inverted DDT for a near fall. And by a very near fall, he only gets a 1 count. Ohno snaps and almost starts running the Matt Morgan style forearms, and he gets pump kicked. Ohno hits a rolling elbow, and he hits it again, and almost basically eats the pin after that. 9.5 minutes, solid back and forth action, and given the fact that we're in Florida, it's nice to see Hero rocking the Orlando Magic gear still.
Definitely.
Good stuff.
It's a shame he isn't on the Chicago card.
Oh, no lie.
Because then we could have had him channel some Michael Jordan. Actually, if he is somehow wrestling on that card, because obviously it wouldn't just be 2 matches, I'd have thought, on the show. They'd probably try and do 3. If Ohno is on the pre-show or whatever, don't have him show up in Chicago Bull stuff. Have him show up in Space Jam stuff.
Well, right now we have only 5 matches booked for the show. That's on the main card. There is plenty of room and time for other matches.
Trying to think. So we got the Rude versus Itami.
Yep.
The triple threat with the women.
Yep.
The ladder match for the
Yes.
tag belts. Strong versus Young.
Right.
And what's the other one?
The UK title match with Bate and Dunn.
Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting. That's it's not. That isn't NXT. They just show up to make the show look good. Like
Daniel says New Japan indirectly because Naito took some of Los Ingobernables with him. And said Hero Bucks.
Keep in mind, there's still a working relationship between New Japan and CMLL.
Well, yeah.
The stable of Los Ingobernables went on without the figurehead of it.
True.
When it left. It's still going.
So Daniel says Hero bumped his head, got lost at an all-you-can-eat buffet, and thought he was a member of the 1992 Olympic Dream Team.
Do you believe in miracles? Oh, wait, that was 88.
Daniel Price apparently doesn't like Pete Dunne.
Wow.
He used the T word that you like to call people every once in a while that I'm not saying on the live broadcast.
You called him a fucking twat?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Welcome, Logan, to chat.
Part of me wonders whether Pete's going to win.
I think it's a good possibility.
Because the thing is, this could get very interesting in terms of storyline in other companies where they're supposed to be friends.
I agree.
I'm looking at you, Progress. I don't know. We'll see.
So let's move on from NXT. Now we're going to go into ROH.
So that it's brilliant. I had to actually watch the show properly this week because nobody has results. Because it was the show the day after a pay-per-view, so nobody gave a fuck about it. So we opened up with Cheeseburger and Will Ferreira taking on the Machine Guns. Not too bad. It was weird. Like towards the latter end, Ferreira was getting frustrated, even though they were both getting beaten the shit out of it together, which is weird. But it was only when then there was a Shotei palm strike hit from Cheeseburger to Ferreira because I think it was Gresham that got out of the way. And then they basically double-teamed Cheeseburger. And eventually Gresham managed to do the octopus hold when he basically looked like he broke Cheeseburger's arm. And all of this, Ferreira didn't even want to help out or sort of basically break up the submission. And then afterwards, Ferreira refused the code of honor. So who knows? Also, I will note right at the start, they were saying what a great night War of the Worlds was. Except this was recorded 3 weeks before, but Colt was like, New York's a great market, and it was a great show. It's like, he's clearly doing that because he's like, I don't know what it was like because I don't know what it is. It's like, good old Colt. Colt and Ian were great on the commentary as well, as they normally are. Doing probably the in-jokes that me and Owen would only get. I can't even remember what they were. It was just doing quick notes to get it done before NXT was on. Jay Lethal was preparing for sort of like a commercial recording in the locker room, and Silas came in, not impressed by Lethal getting all these, promotional deals and sponsorships and all that. So beating me up in the locker room. Then we get to his match, Silas himself taking on Bobby Fish. Man, this match was good. I gave it, I think, somewhere in the region of about 15 minutes. And the finish was beautiful as well. Silas takes his knee brace off as if to loosen it and sort of because he's hurt. Beer City Bruiser gets on the apron. And Silas smacks Bobby Fish in the head with his brace. Gets the pinfall and Silas wins. Even though you might see that as a bullshit finish, that's Silas's character, and they put on a pretty damn good match. Which is weird because nobody watched it because of the pay-per-view the night before, so I don't know why they put this on here. There was a good Dalton Castle promo saying, back in 2010, I was in Dubai and some crazy shit happened, but I came out alive. It's like, I'm more interested in what the fuck happened in Dubai now. He's like, I had my shot against Daniels and I lost. It ain't going to stop me. The momentum can keep building. And I'll get my shot again and I will become Ring of Honor champion. Good promo. Also, mainly because he was like doing weird things with the boys. It was like poking their faces and their lips. Sort of as if like, are they real or not? It's weird. And then the 6-man tag titles. Bully Ray and the Briscoes taking on the Rebellion. Which unsurprisingly, Bully Ray and the Briscoes retained to keep the continuity both when this was recorded and after the pay-per-view. Pretty good. Nothing spectacular. 3D on Titus got the I don't know, the 5150 chicken farmers or something. I don't know. And then afterwards, Coleman is getting in Bully Ray's face. And the Briscoes bring a table into the ring. Coleman eventually backs up into the table and realizes, like, oh no. Briscoes take him or beat on him a bit. Give him to Bubba. And Bubba bomb through the table. And that's how we end the show. Not too bad an affair this week. But nobody's going to watch it, as I say, anyway, because of the stuff the day before. And then the stuff the day after happened.
Well, Daniel said he was surprised that Daniels retained, thinking like all of us did that Cody was going to win. But even though it makes more sense for Cody to win one-on-one.
Well, did he? Because it's not specified in the notes that I've got. But, and of course, this is spoilers to some extent, although not if you think about it. It is brought up apparently on the show that Cody basically says, look at the footage. When I had Lethal in that figure 4,
his shoulders were down.
His shoulders were down for a 3 count. It's just the ref decided to count Daniel's pin instead. So technically, I should have won as well. So yeah, there's the justification for the rematch, and there's the justification for what I think will be the better result of more people watching the next pay-per-view. I'd argue there'd be more people watching it because obviously it's one of the bigger shows that Ring of Honor has. The War of the Worlds one have always been good in terms of the international stuff, but this is everybody in Ring of Honor. This is not other people and everything. And I think that'll be a more opportune time. Because, of course, that'll be only, 2 weeks? Actually, no, a week, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it's about a week.
Before G1. And considering the momentum that he's going to get off this, that's going to propel him, Keep in mind, he's got Dominion on the 11th of June against Elgin, which I think he's going to win. I'm intrigued as to, as long as Tanahashi's fit, whether he actually faces Tana for the belt. The thing is, they've got great cover if Tana is unfit and not ready to go in Juice Robinson. And
Absolutely.
Then you can continue the Juice Robinson-Cody stuff in America.
I mean, if they don't, and I said this on the War of the Worlds podcast, when you're talking about a U.S. championship for IWGP and for New Japan to bring in an American title, I think with what they've done with Juice Robinson, building him up, having him like an eyelash away from beating Tetsuya Naito, I think that he would be a perfect candidate for that championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sticking with that.
Yeah.
Daniel likes the Briscoes and the Sandy Fork promos. I think we all do. Love the Briscoes. Jay, why you look so homeless? Wish New Japan had a larger market. I'd like to watch them take out Vince, kick them in the scrotes. That was his wording. And Tana is the Japanese John Cena. Oh, wait. Tana can actually wrestle. Never mind.
Let's say he was the John Cena of Japan. Because people seem to like him now.
Right.
There was certainly a point within the last few years when some people were just like, we're sick of him, and some people were like, we love him.
Daniel wonders if Vince is going to put the U.S. title on Nakamura just to mess with New Japan.
Well, the problem is the only time you should really do that is, you know what the twist would be? Him winning Money in the Bank.
That would be very interesting. I think we brought that up before, actually, too.
Him winning Money in the Bank, or, well, I can't really go for the world title.
I'm starting to believe they're going to give Corbin Money in the Bank this year.
I honestly think if you have the Intercontinental title, which I've got a feeling is going to change hands at Backlash.
Yep, definitely.
I think Owens is going to drop the belt. The rematch in July happens, and then SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title, just like how it was at Wrestle Kingdom 10 a year and a half ago. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the rematch.
Well, the only issue with that, it would be for the U.S. title, not the Intercontinental title.
Well, whatever. I get confused about the belts. You know what,
Daniel,
what I'm trying to say is it basically the second tier title.
Right. Daniel, we both agree. Corbin's winning Money in the Bank. He's going to cash in on Orton in his hometown. It makes perfect sense. We're going to get AJ and Nakamura in WWE.
How is he going to cash in on Orton when Rusev's winning at Money in the Bank?
We'll see if they give him the title. I hope so. I hope Rusev takes the title.
So, back to Ring
of Honor. Ring of Honor War of the Worlds tapings. Live from
Philly.
Former ECW Arena.
So, for episode 1, we think, because last time we thought this was this, and they edited them all about. The Tempura Boys beat Coast to Coast with a package pole driver.
Yep.
The Bucks then officially introduced Party Marty as the Bullet Club's newest member. Josh Woods beat David Starr with a rolling knee bar.
Hold on. I got to go with the line here from the promo that starts off the show. Marty goes, he basically calls Adam Cole stupid, and he says, who's ready to have tea time with Marty? And Adam shows up, is like, well, why have a tea party with Marty when you can have story time with Adam Cole?
Whee!
And Hangman Page says he's going to run Adam Cole out of it. Ring of Honor. Continue. I've got promos here, so you're good.
Yeah, okay. So then we had Jay Lethal beat the Beer City Bruiser via DQ because, of course, Silas came in and interfered.
Yep.
And then Cody beat Kazarian with the Crossroads.
Same thing Ashley talked about earlier. That promo was right before this match.
So he cut it at the end of the episode, basically.
Well, he cut it right. He cut it right before the match with Kaz, and then Hangman Page came out. They double teamed Kaz. Daniels made the save, and that's how we ended the first set of tapings.
So then we had the Women of Honor first match. Sumi Sakai and Gabby Ortiz beating Bonesaw, Jesse Brooks, and Tasha Steelz with a Northern Light suplex.
Yep.
Then War Machine beat Will Ferrara and Cheeseburger. I'm guessing yet more dissension between those two.
Yep.
Thinks that's a best in the world match.
I'm certain it is.
Then LIJ of Naito, Bushi, Sanada, and Evil managed to beat the Briscoes, Bully Ray, and Dalton Castle. That's a combo. After the Bushi missed. And then Hangman Page beat Adam Cole after a couple of rites of passage. Then we had Kelly Klein beat Mandy Rose with a suplex into a guillotine. I'm guessing that's probably another Women of Honor exclusive match.
Right. The TV main event for episode 2. After the match is over, basically Adam Cole starts getting whipped because Todd Sinclair gets knocked down by Hangman Page. Kaz runs out, and then they clear the ring. And then Adam Cole thanks the fans. Marty attacks from behind, stealing his moment. And then they announce there's going to be Marty versus Cole in a Philadelphia street fight for the live crowd only in the main event of the
night. I don't know about that.
Well, that's what it said there, but I don't know what happens later on.
There seems to be some indications it might be a web exclusive.
That makes more sense.
As in free YouTube thing. Which WWE will probably allow, because, you know, who makes money on YouTube nowadays?
Oh, hold on, real quick. I got some commentary from chat. Logan says they probably should wait on the match. Talking about the WWE match. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Every time a Steam does a package pile driver, Vince loses his mind. Logan says, have AJ win the WWE Championship carrying it till Mania. Daniel says, Sonata deleted LIJ so badly, it has completely transformed him. Completely agree with that. Logan says Nakamura wins the Rumble or becomes number 1 contender, and then AJ and Nakamura for the title at WrestleMania 34. Daniel fears for Nakamura with Vince is going to find a way to mess things up. Yeah, I think we're all in that same boat right now, honestly, especially the very slow build with Dolph Ziggler right now.
Why can't we talk about the most important match of the night?
Oh, I'm super happy about this. I can't wait to see this match.
Yeah, fucking Roppongi Vice and Chuck fucking Taylor.
Yep.
Beat Hangman Page and the Young Bucks after Chucky T hit Matty J with the Awful Waffle.
Yeah, I heard the Awful Waffle was the finish. It's funny because there's an image on Twitter that I saw of Rocky Romero looking so out of place in this match. Because the best friends are back together in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Rebellion versus Gresham and Jay White went to a no contest because the Motor City Machine Guns and apparently Kenny King's back.
That's good.
And they interfered. So he thinks that's going to be an 8-man. probably at the
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's officially announced, actually. And it's Search and Destroy versus Rebellion. Losing team must disband at Best in the World.
Ooh, that's interesting.
It's very curious, isn't it?
So I think that means Search and Destroy are going to disband, because that doesn't mean the Motor City Machine Guns have to disband.
No, just the stable.
Yeah, so Jay White can go, and Jay White and Gresham can go singles.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
I approve.
That means who the fuck is left of the six-man?
God.
Oh, wait. Roppongi Vice and Chuck Taylor. Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck you, Briscoes. Fuck you, Bully Ray. The best friends of Roppongi Vice. Yes. And then,
A very surprising main event.
Thanks to stealing Marty Scurll's outfit and turning out the lights himself as a distraction, Kushida beats Marty Scurll with the somersault package DDT to become the new TV champion. I think for the second time.
I
remember.
believe so. We'll look into that right now, actually.
I might be getting confused in terms of the actual whether it was actually the IWGP Junior belt that was on the line somehow.
That'd be correct. He's 4-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and he's only 1-time TV champion now. So yeah.
Right. So then what all this is supposed to be the final episode, which is interesting because normally when they do an anniversary episode, fuck all happens on it.
Yep.
It turns out for the 300th episode, holy shit, we're actually going to have fighting. 4 matches it seems as well. Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser beats Lethal and Fish after Silas Young pins Lethal with the TKO. So I'm guessing Young and Lethal's probably going to be a match on the pay-per-view.
It's a good bet.
Probably. The Kingdom beat the Boys. Punishment Martinez beat Jay Diesel after a sit-out chokeslam. Then the Addiction of Daniels Kazarian and Tanahashi. I'm guessing this is where the injury probably happened.
You're correct.
Beat Gato, Ospreay, and Goto.
Such a random match.
They beat Chaos. Daniels hit the BME on Goto. And then the Philly Street Fight to close out the night for the crowd and possibly the internet. Who knows?
It's web exclusive. It's announced.
Thanks to the Bullet Club, Marty beats Adam Cole, and then thank you, Adam. Rings out galore.
Have you heard this promo? Because I've got it.
Not yet.
I've got it. It says, "Thank you, Adam. Please don't go." Chanting speech. Adam Cole goes, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? We will miss you." Chant rings out. Cole goes, "I fell in love with pro wrestling at the young age of 9 years old. I was infatuated with guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and all the countless superstars that I saw. What really made me decide that I wanted to be a pro wrestler was Ring of Honor. I've said this countless times, and it's the truth. This place, not just the locker room, not just the cameramen, not just the referees, but all of you. We are one big giant family. The love and respect that each and every one of you have shown me is the reason I can stand before you here today, 9 years as a pro wrestler. 3 times a world champion, traveling the globe because you guys thought I was good enough. No matter what happens going forward, I just want each and every one of you to know that I deeply love you, and Ring of Honor will always be my home." And I'll end it with this, since she's here. Mom, happy Mother's Day.
Nice.
Cole's music hits. He holds up his index fingers, indicating one more time. Everybody yells out, "Adam Cole, baby." They chant, "Thank you, Adam," and he went to the back. And that's the last thing that you're going to see on the web exclusive.
And then the intriguing thing is what happens.
Yep.
Because the situation's interesting. Because, he could easily show up on NXT. Because that always seems to be the trend.
We're
Here's some
talking about
person
him
in the
showing up
crowd.
on Saturday in the crowd. Exactly.
Although it'd be interesting if it was one of the Japanese girls.
It'd be a good promotion for the women's tournament.
Yeah. The thing that I wonder is obviously there's an interesting schedule for Cole because, next week he's probably making his final PWG appearance.
Correct.
And then also just added this, I think just added today actually, or yesterday. Obviously not part of a tournament because he isn't there for day one. Adam Cole is going to be part of day 2 of the JT Lightning Invitational Tournament show.
Yes, he is.
I don't think they've named the opponent because it's probably going to be one of the first round people that lost, I'm guessing.
Makes sense.
But yeah, shit is going down.
I might as well do this because if you want to talk about it right now, I've got it up, so I might as well look at it. The JT Lightning Invitational Tournament takes place on May 26th and 27th, 7:30 p.m. back at the Our Lady of Mount Carmel outside of Cleveland, Ohio. So night one is going to be Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus Eddie Kingston.
Huh.
Yeah. Filthy Tom Lawler versus Jimmy Rave.
Wow. That's...
Matt Cross versus Super Crazy. Swoggle versus Mordecai.
Christ. I don't mean Mordecai.
Dominic Garini versus Lil Guido. Plus also that are going to be participating in the JT Lightning Memorial Tournament. All Ego Ethan Page, the Bad Boy Joey Janela, Steve Payne, Alex Daniels, Sean Schultz, Mike Toller, Laredo Kid, Adam Cole's better half, Britt Baker, Gringo Loco, Colin Delaney, Facade, Matthew Justice, Colt Cabana, and Ashley, this is for you, Space Monkey.
Oh, Space Monkey's back.
And yes, Daniel, that is correct. Northeast Wrestling does have Adam Cole facing off against Cody Rhodes on May 26th in Newburgh, New York.
That's why he's not on night one. Hang on. Yeah, that's why. Whoa, hang on.
So that's why he's not on night one.
Oh. No, PWG Saturday. So how the hell is PWG going to be? Okay. If he's part of PWG, how is he doing AIW?
I don't know.
Is he not doing God damn it, is he pulled out of PWG?
Maybe. Or he'll pull out of... Oh, no, he won't pull out of AIW because they're promoting him right now. John Thorne tweeted out on Twitter, who would you like to see Adam Cole face on night 2?
Hang on. Oh, wait, is that this weekend? God damn it, I got it in the wrong date. Holy fuck.
Also, there's going to be the Back to the Future Cup the night of the 27th with a 3 p.m. bell time that runs before matches announced so far. AJ Gray versus Garrison King and Marino Tenaglia versus Colby Red in qualifying matches for the Cup, as well as a non-tournament student scramble with Big Twan Tucker, Chase Oliver, Kurt Hertz, Joshua Bishop, Parker Pierce, and Trey Lamar.
Brilliant. That changed dates from whenever I made the notes last time.
Get your tickets at
So nearly
AIWrestling.com.
missed the PWG was this weekend. That would have been a fucking embarrassment.
You miss a PWG day, that just blows my mind thinking about that.
I nearly missed PWG.
G is this weekend.
Yeah. Because I was noticing, because I'll go for it now so I don't go for it next weekend. Next week, from what I can tell, just looking through this, we've got AAW, Preston City Wrestling, Wrestle Circus, WWM with its FIP and Style Battle stuff, House of Glory, C4, AIW, Lucha Toronto, Dragon Gate Japan, Shikara, Progress, Smash Wrestling, Alpha One, and ICW.
Good Lord.
And the thing is, Progress Wrestling is a tournament, AIW is a tournament. There might be a tournament as well at Preston, I'm not sure. It's like, God damn it, you bastards.
Ashley, while we're here, do you want to bring up Head Like a Coal for this weekend?
Yeah, might as well. Mainly because it isn't in my notes, because I forgot. I had it down for next week.
I got this. This Friday night.
So yeah, basically you can't get tickets.
Nope.
It's sort of like a Progress show. It's sold out. Don't bother. So we got the Lees taking on each other with Keith versus Trevor. Michael Elgin versus Shane Strickland. Red Dragon reunites as Fish and O'Reilly take on the Chosen Bros of Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb. In an international flavor, we got Leo Rush versus Mark Haskins. Adam Cole takes on Sami Callihan. That's an interesting situation,
with his
which
CW.
we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Because that was a surprise.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
The rematch happens with Phoenix and Penta defending the belts against former champs, the Young Bucks. And Zack Sabre Jr. defends the PWG World title against Trent.
Trent has had a tremendous year. I would not be shocked if he takes the title on Friday night.
I'm not sure.
It could go either way, but I really would not be surprised if they put the title on.
Because keep in mind, they've already announced last Friday. The next show is June 16th, and it's going to be entitled Man on the Silver Mountain.
Yep. I'm looking at that right now, actually.
No details as to when the tickets will be going on sale for that, but I'm guessing it will probably be in or around next week.
That makes sense.
It's normally always around a Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, which means by 8:05, oh, look, they all gone.
My advice, just go to Twitter and keep watching official PWG and then just hope. If you want to go.
You can't even go to official PWG. You've actually got to be at prowrestlinggorilla.com/tickets. You've got to be able to refresh and wait until those buttons go live. Because that's the only chance you've got.
So we have wrestling. Actually, Ring of Honor is not going to be doing anything until June, so they've got a little bit of time. They'll be back on June 3rd and 4th in Chicago Ridge for Windy City Excellence and Gateway to Gold in Collinsville, Illinois on June 4th, and then nothing until Best in the World in Lowell on June 23rd. So, do we want to go into the other indies first? Or do you want to roll into New Japan right now?
Well, it's sort of the last thing to talk about in terms of stuff I actually fucking watched, because spoilers, they actually broadcast this live for free.
Yeah, for some people.
So holy shit, I saw something legally.
And I tried to do the same thing, and my browser said, "Nope, not gonna let you do that, Owen. Sorry."
I don't know whether it's because certainly because I was watching it on the tablet. I had to have the New Japan World app,
Right.
which I think is what I don't know if it's on Apple. I know it's on Android because obviously that's what I watch it on. And it worked good. I don't know whether it's going to be put on YouTube. I doubt it, but I just find it ironic that most of the stuff that is up on the website predominantly is on YouTube. At least the 3 matches. I will say some of the stuff, like if you look, the entire New Year Dash show from January 5th. You know, when Suzuki Gun showed up and murdered Chaos.
Yes.
That's up in its entirety for free on New Japan World. You don't even need to be a subscriber to see that. I think the same stands with this first day of the Best of the Super Juniors. Some of the select shows as well are free. More than likely, I think they're like the Kurikan Hall shows, building into or out of some of the big pay-per-views. And only at certain times will you be getting the matches. I am intrigued as to whether New Japan are actually going to dare put up on YouTube, oh, here's a free match to build up for Dominion. Yeah, it's the match from Wrestle Kingdom. Because part of me thinks they can't do that. Because that's something to actually drive people to the actual network to pay. But I don't know. So yeah, Best of the Super Juniors 24 started earlier this morning in Kurikan Hall. Just to run through the blocks again quickly. A block features Liger, Ricochet, Dragon Lee, Ospreay, Skrull, Taichi, Taka, and Hiromu Takahashi. And then in B block, we got Tiger Mask 4, Taguchi, Kushida, Volador Jr., ACH, Kanemaru, El Desperado, and Bushi. So what we got today, amazingly, it was only just 8 matches, and it only went 2.5 hours. So take that, Raw. So opening match was Liger and Taka. Taka getting the win with a heavy killer number 1. The thing I will say about this, Taka had him in the submission. I can't remember what it was.
It was a triangle choke.
But Liger was like swinging his arm as if he's going to tap. And it was like brilliant. It was just like, he's sort of waving his hand in the air as if he was trying to tap, but at the same time, and then like sort of waving his like finger in the air to say, "No, I need the fan," sort of thing.
Oh no, really no! You're talking about a crossface. Never mind. Yeah, that happened midway through the match.
That was really nice. So it was just like Liger's tapping the invisible mat, like dun dun dun, like. Then Tiger Mask 4 and Volador. Did I make a note here? Yeah, the finish. So we had the Spanish fly and everything happen, except where the pinfall was, I swear Tiger Mask was underneath the ropes. Because it was right next to him straight after the Spanish fly. So it was like, that's a bit questionable. So then Ricochet and Taichi. Taichi's got a full-on bloody music concert with some skanky-ass hoe. Supposed to be singing with a microphone, but when they go close on his lips, he's singing, but his lips aren't moving. Or half-arse moving, so it's like, well, he isn't singing. Part of me wonders whether Taichi can actually fucking wrestle, which I know he can, because for predominantly this match, he was either not trying to wrestle or using the microphone and the microphone stand in order to try and sort of get the win. Irony is, he didn't win. Ricochet won with a shooting star press. So whatever. ACH and Boosie. ACH won with the Midnight Driver. Really good. ACH channeling a little Colt Cabana. Going, hey, what's that? Gone. Then into the second half, Kushida and El Desperado. Somewhat of an upset because Kushida lost. Probably, though, because Desperado was beating the shit out of Kushida even before the bell rang. Desperado wasted no time in that. Then Ospreay versus Marty Scurll. There was about 5 people that were going, whoop, whoop. And then about 20 people cottoned on and started doing it as well. But him and Ospreay had a damn good affair, and I honestly think the way it was presented, Marty might have made himself thanks to Ospreay in one match. Because the crowd response at the end was like, yeah, we like this.
I see the finish was the Oz cutter into the crossface chicken wing.
Yeah, Ospreay got so much big air and went for the Oz cutter, but Skull just got in the right position, locked on that chicken wing, and Ospreay had to do what he could only do, and that's tap. Then Ryosuke Taguchi and Kanemaru in the co-main. Taguchi getting the win with a small package. There was quite a bit of like dick kicking or lots of stuff. Because obviously Taguchi is sort of a comedic style wrestler.
Right.
There was one bit where Kanemaru was throwing him into the ropes and Taguchi was just falling down from exhaustion because he's had to keep running into the ropes. And then afterwards, like the medical guy had to sort of ice his genitalia. And everybody laughed because then the camera went to Taguchi's face and it was sort of like your cum face. It was like, all we needed was brazzers. And I'd be like,
God.
oh. And then not too much crazy shit happened with Dragon Lee and Takahashi, mainly because, you know, they've got to wrestle tomorrow, as in about 6 hours. But they still did some crazy stuff. There was a Hurricane Rana off the apron to the floor. There was also, I think it'd be a Canadian Destroyer, I guess, because Dragon Lee went over the ropes onto Hiromu, who was on the apron, and span him round in the air so much that he power bombed Hiromu onto the floor, sort of off the apron. So I guess a Canadian Destroyer, except a super one.
It sounds like
nearly involved.
It sounds like
involved death.
It sounds like a sunset bomb the way you're describing it, but I mean, I'd have to see
but it was sort of like Canadian Destroyer style because obviously there was like Hiromu sort of turned 450 degrees.
So it's like a front flip power bomb instead of a front flip pile driver.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
But it was certainly the style of the Canadian Destroyer. Except I guess it was a Canadian power bomb. Oh no. And Dragon Lee actually did get the win with a Phoenix Plex hold. There was also another great bit where Dragon Lee and Hiromu were just suplex citying each other. Dragon Lee suplex Takahashi. Takahashi no sold it. Suplex Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee no sold it. Suplex Takahashi. It was like, I think there was 9 or 10, and I was going, Brock's going, you fucking bastards. But yeah, that's pretty strong. Obviously, you sort of know who's got 2 points because they won. The complicated issue is when we get over the next few days because we get to the separate blocks now after they've all fought on day one. So day 2 is coming up in a few hours. And this is a crazy show as well. Out of the 4 matches, we've got Takahashi versus Liger, Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, Dragon Lee versus Marty Scurll, and Taichi versus Taka Michinoku. I'm guessing the matches are going to be the other way around.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because Taichi and Taka is sort of the weakest, especially because, Suzuki Gun. Then Saturday, Block B has day 3 in Mi. I think it's pronounced Mie. I'm not sure. With El Desperado Bushi, ACH Kanemaru, Taguchi Volador Jr., which should be good, and Tiger Mask Kushida. Day 4 on Sunday in Shizuoka. Back to Block A for Ospreay Taka, Dragon Lee Taichi, Takahashi Ricochet, and Liger versus Marty Scurll. Block B on Monday. In fact, that's an interesting one because the Monday show is 3 o'clock local time. So that'll be like 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
East, because 6:30 works out at 10:30 here and 5:30 Eastern. So looking at that, yeah, it'll be 2 in the morning. So it'll actually be 11 p.m. Pacific time. So some of you guys on the West Coast, because I think that one's being shown live on New Japan World, from what I remember, because it's a Kurikan Hall show. So no, but on that one we got Volador Jr., Kanemaru, Kushida versus Bushi, Taguchi versus El Desperado, and Tiger Mask versus ACH. And then next Tuesday, day 6, back to the A block. Taichi, Takahashi, Scurll versus Taka, Ricochet and Dragon Lee, and Liger versus Ospreay. And we won't talk about any of the rest of it because that'll be covered next week.
Right.
But I will say they're going 5 straight days again. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it's like, good to know.
Welcome, Jeremy, to chat. Daniel says Minoru Suzuki agent and still wrecking everyone. And then he says, Great Muto comes out, eats all the juniors, uses them as fuel to become immortal, then he misses with their blood. Book it. So we're to the indie portion of the night. So are we ready for this, Ashley?
Well, there were some bits of news to mention. Probably before that.
Kennedy Brink is doing something right now.
What's she done?
Kennedy Brink has been signed to be the first WWE female referee.
Oh, wow. Good on her. Thing is, she's actually not bad a wrestler, so that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, that's an issue.
So some more details have come out about Billy Corgan's NWA deals and everything. So basically, the purchase of Bruce is going to involve the name, the rights, all the trademarks, and the rights and possession of the belt, but also includes Tharp's position in terms of the on-demand video service and the Paul Bosch wrestling library. The thing is, though, the actual ownership of the library does remain with the Bosch family, as it always had. Basically, FARP had the rights to sort of use it, and that will now continue on with Corgan. And also, they're still deciding on Bruce's position in the company. So he may still have a place in the thing, even though I guess technically he don't own it and all that. And then
Sammy Callahan.
that I was going to leave till we get to the show and the other show that affects it. No, there's a little bit that's come out of New Japan actually. Basically, they did a business presentation, I think, before the Super Juniors, basically saying that they're projecting sales of roughly about $32 million for 2017. But overall for 2018, they're expecting an increase from 3.7 billion yen, which is the 32 million, to 4.5. So, rough math off the top of my head, somewhere closer to 40 million US dollars. Interestingly, in terms of merch sales, New Japan numbers are around the fifth to a quarter of WWE's. But in terms of digital goods and distribution, things are not even close. They also want to get a full house at the Tokyo Dome by 2020, saying they want 40 to 45,000 tickets sold for that. They're also hoping to get in total 100,000 subscribers to the New Japan World Service, which means it'd be Japan's largest streaming service, of which they've currently already halfway at 50,000. And interestingly, of those 50,000, a fifth are outside Japan, and and on top of that, you got 200,000 people, sort of on average, watching the Access shows in North America and everything as well. So, and New Japan's just received a site update, which means Western people will be able to access stuff more easily. Plus, they are adding support through Chromecast and Amazon Fire TV sticks as well. They also want to increase live stream shows, not just from them, but also from shows like Ring of Honor, Rev Pro, and CMLL. They also want to increase the archive content on their website, and they want feedback in terms of what kind of original programming they'd like to see. So yeah, it's interesting. It looks as if they're trying to do some fun stuff. Also, they've said in terms of the G1 show, they're going to be trying presenting it as is, not really twisting it up too much. I don't think there's any news from Dave just yet. Better have a quick look and refresh. But some of the bits from the last week, turns out Dana White's got an Emmy now, because the Conor McGregor Nate Diaz fight from UFC 202 got an Emmy for, I think it was outstanding editing for sports coverage, which technically Dana has a hand in, so that's why he's got the money. The Al Snow thing probably isn't major enough to talk about. Eva Marie will not be in the new season of Total Divas, and apparently they are working out a replacement. Some point towards Charlotte, possibly. Oh, here's something for Owen to buy. They've just sort of announced details regarding WWE Unreleased 1986 to 1995.
Yes, I heard about this.
Unseen matches from Savage, Warrior, Andre, Michaels, Hart, Perfect, and more. But the hints are there's a Owen Hart match from 1986, which speculation thinks it might be one of the All-Star wrestling shows that happened in Canada, where he faced the Brooklyn Brawler.
Good possibility.
And then also a Taz match from '93, which some people think might be his WWF tryout against Scott Taylor.
Yes, that's a very good possibility as well.
There's the Sammy stuff. There were some other bits. God damn it. Amazing there's been no leaks in terms of, naked people.
No.
For the Ring of Honor stuff, Hammerstein Ballroom is going to be hosting Final Battle in December, but they don't know when.
I saw that.
Apparently Simon Grimm, aka Simon Gotch, was backstage at the tapings. And Adam Cole can still work Ring of Honor. By the sounds of it. Yeah, basically he's going to work on a free agent sort of deal like Bobby Fish is, so we might be seeing him. I guess we could be seeing him versus Marty at the Best in the World show, probably.
It's possible.
And sort of revenge and stuff. So we'll be seeing what happens there. Quickly check to see if... No, it's probably going to be late. Right. Any other bits? Oh, we've got the news about Io Shirai, which we sort of mentioned Monday, but yeah, it's a sort of official now that she's leaving Stardom and is going to be coming over actually as an actual full-time wrestler, from what I can tell, rather than just coming in for the tournament like Ibushi did and whatever. But apparently there'll be more details of that in the newsletter we're still waiting on. One of the big things to note, I don't know whether it's listed here. Must have been in a different wrong thing. The press conference for New Japan and the G1 stuff is actually going to be in Japan, but will be held at the equivalent of 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So there'll be some interesting stuff coming out of that. Also, apparently, Tomoaki Honma's in training in hopes of a return. And there's no timetable on Shibata's return either. Interestingly, Takahashi said that if he wins, he'll choose to face someone that he's always wanted to wrestle at Dominion. So they've left that as a tease, as if to go, oh God, does that mean we could get Takahashi versus Ibushi?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I want Takahashi to win. Progress has now announced all 16 people for the Super Strong Style 16 tournament. So it's a pretty strong list. We've got Jack Sexsmith, Pastor William Eva, Travis Banks, Trent Seven, Jeff Cobb, Jimmy Havoc, Flamita, Zach Gibson, Zack Sabre Jr., Tyler Bate, David Starr, Flash Morgan Webster, Nathan Cruz, Mark Haskins, Mark Andrews, and Matt Riddle. Wow. That's the other stuff. Let's see if there's anything else. I guess it might be in the previous daily update as to where I saw the New Japan news. And it's taking forever to load. Huzzah. Thanks, Internet.
Evolve this weekend.
Yeah, you can go over those two as I keep seeing if there's any other news?
Evolve this Saturday night is going to be in Summit, Illinois at the Summit Park District as 2:30 Central Time. The main event is a double main event, actually. You've got Matt Riddle putting the WWN title up against Kyle O'Reilly, and Zack Sabre Jr. defending the Evolve Championship against All Ego Ethan Page. Chris Dickinson and Jaka defend the Evolve Tag Team titles against Matt Nix and Isaiah Velasquez. And a rematch from Evolve 81 with Keith Lee versus Donovan Dijak. Probably one of my favorite matches of the weekend for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And Tracy Williams versus Jeff Cobb. Leo Rush versus Austin Theory. And Fred Yehai versus Jason the Gift Kincaid.
So that's Saturday afternoon sorted.
That's the Saturday show.
We'll get to the evening show, which runs sort of head to head with NXT in a minute. But Evolve continues on Sunday in Michigan.
Yep.
Another Knights of Columbus Hall. They like those Knights of Columbus Hall. That's all I know.
Livonia, Michigan. So Zack Sabre puts the Evolve title up against Leo Rush.
If he's still champ.
Matt Riddle defends the WWN Championship against Jeff Cobb.
Same situation. I'm guessing with both of those, they'll probably both retain, I'd have thought.
Right. Tracy Williams versus Kyle O'Reilly. Ethan Page versus Donovan Dijak. Keith Lee versus Fred Yehai. A non-title match between Chris Dickinson and Jaka against Jason Kincaid and WWN Live. He simply says, well, first off, I'm gonna read what this says verbatim. Catch Point versus High Flyers, non-title match. Evolve Tag Team Champions Chris Dickinson and Jaka with Stokey Hathaway versus Jason Kincaid and Jaka.
Stokey!
Jason Kincaid and Jaka. What? You can't be in two places at once.
It's gonna be the old what do you call it? You know, like Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase and Hardcore Holly. It's gonna be in both corners.
God. There's going to be a Shine showcase between Allison Kay and Priscilla Kelly. Norman Smiley is going to be available for autographs and pictures, and they're doing a seminar tryout with him that afternoon, and that's going to lead to a showcase match that's also going to be on the card as well.
Hang on. That's not that. Is it this one? I'm trying to actually get the actual card to see who it should be. No, even their fucking email updates have Evolve Lee and Stokey.
Oh, dear God. WWN teams with FIP for Accelerate 2017 on May 26th at 9 p.m. back at the Orpheum in Ybor City. And that's also part of the Style Battle FIP combo ticket. You can get it at ticketfly.com.
Which
the
is
VOD
the following day, from what I remember. 27th.
Yep. I'll get to that. Actually, flowslam.tv if you want to watch the live stream and video on demand. Fred Yehai puts the FIP world title up against Martin Stone. John Davis defends the Florida Heritage Championship against Caleb Conley. There's a bounty match with Anthony Henry taking on Teddy Stigma. AR Fox versus Jason Kincaid. I want to see that. Four-way freestyle, Jason Cade, Austin Theory, James Drake, and John Cruz. There's going to be a tag match featuring FIP versus Wildcat. It's supposed to be Wildcat Sports, but it says Wildcat Sprots. Who edits the freaking WWN Live page? Seriously. Plus Pero, Drennan, Ethan Case, Priscilla Kelly, Aria Blake, Odinson, and others.
Who proofreads this shit?
And this Style Battle at the Astoria Event Center in Tampa, 8 p.m. bell time the next night. Season 1, Episode 4, Style Battle. Check out also on flowslam.tv. So basically, the ninth style battle will see the very best from the previous 8 style battles compete to be the season champion. There will be 3 talents getting a second chance due to their impressive performances: James Drake, Austin Theory, and Jason Cade. They're confirmed. Ethan Case is confirmed, and they're going to announce more soon. So it's probably sometime this week in our normal WWN live email that we usually get. We'll find out more about Style Battle's actual.
I thought they already crowned the Style Battle champion because Riddle won.
I am aware of this.
I thought that was the idea. If you won the Style Battle, you got in the WWN tournament.
Style Battle features an 8-man single elimination tournament on every single show. There's 9 Style Battles in a season. And the 9th will be the best of the previous 8 to determine who's going to be the champion of the Style Battle season. So there's that.
Should we talk about important stuff? Actually, no, they are important because obviously all the ticket profits from those go towards. I keep forgetting his name. It's bad.
Wayne Van Dyke.
Yeah, because I keep trying to remember his stage name rather than Wayne Van Dyke.
I believe is it Richard Delicious?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I remember that off without even looking. I'm good.
Delicious.
Yes.
So, Progress Wrestling's Bang the Drum from Manchester. There's actually a bit of Progress Wrestling news that I didn't mention, but I'll be mentioning it in a minute. I might as well mention these first because we sort of know them because I went through the 16. Nathan Cruz beat Spud and Flash Morgan Webster beat James Drake in terms of the qualifiers for Super Strong 12 16. But also, we had Ginny beat the Session Moth, Martina. Sweet Jesus of Chuck Mambo and Pastor William Eva beat the London Riots of Rob Lynch and James Davis. Trent Seven victorious over Travis Banks. Matt Riddle beat Tyler Bate via DQ. I think Trent got involved from what I remember. And in the freeway for the Progress World title, Pete Dunne retains over Mark Andrews and Mark Haskins. The big thing they announced within the last day or so is they've had to move around shows. So Manchester was supposed to be having a show in September, but they're not now. So instead, they're moving it to July. The irony about that is that's already sold out because I think the tickets went on sale Monday. They've already gone. The reason why it's moved is because Progress was looking for a big London venue. They did Brixton last year, and it was a big success. But this time, they've arguably gone one step better. September the 10th, and I think tickets go on sale this Friday, so if you want to get them, be quick. Progress Wrestling invades the Alexandra Palace. Ali Pali, the home of the World Championship darts and one of the major snooker tournaments, and has a history of doing a lot of stuff in the London area, hosts Progress Wrestling. That's a pretty, for a company that's only 5 or 6 years old, the fact that they're playing Ali Pali, good on them. Good on them, son. That I need to mention later. In terms of Smash Wrestling, all I know is Tyson Dukes retained over John Greed. I only know that because he's defending the belt in a triple threat on the next show, the Gold Show, on June the 11th. That's all I know. No other results seem to be available at the minute. The CWF Mid-Atlantic, Snooty Fox won the $2,000, beating Roy Wilkins. Also, we had crowning of new tag champs as the Dawson brothers of Zayn and Dave beat Aaron Biggs and Mecca Mercenary to win the belts. Rick Converse beat Kane Justice in a non-title match as well. So I'm guessing that might be resulting in a match. I'm not sure. And also in a non-title champion versus champion match. Sorry, I'm only going through selected results on this one, but it's mainly because there's a show coming up this weekend, which is probably more important because it's got more title matches on. The International Ultra Day champ Chet Sterling beat Worldwide TV champ Eric Andrews via pinfall. So with the women's stuff, Shine on Friday, Shine 42. Dementia De Rosa beat Aya Pereira in a Sparkle Showcase. Maria Manic beat Dynamite Didi. Kira Hogan victorious over Priscilla Kelly after a tandem DDT from Candy Cartwright and Aurora Blake. ACR beat Lindsay Snow. Ariel Monroe over Aria Blake. Evilise and Mercedes Martinez victorious over Gabby Castrovinci and Santana Garrett. So Las Sicarias are the new Shine Tag Champs. Then Allison Kay cut a promo, wondering where she's seen Chelsea Green before, and then settles on a wedding. Allison Kay got the win with a counter stunner. Renee Michelle victorious over Candy Cartwright by DQ because Aria Blake and Kira Hogan broke up a pin attempt off a springboard moonsault. Afterwards, the three continued to beat down Renee until Ariel Monroe came down to even the odds and make the save, and then Priscilla Kelly joined them. So I guess 6-person, who knows? Oh, wait, sorry. Ariel got on the mic and said she's tired of them jumping people, but they're not going to jump on her friends. They call them cactus deep-throating fairground strippers. Wow. I need to hire her as a writer. Wow. They had the trios match immediately, and the good guys won of Monroe, Kelly, and Michelle after a pinfall with a lateral press from Priscilla Kelly on Kira Hogan. Then Traven Adams, the voice of Flow Slam, it seems, because he's on practically everything that's on Gabe's Sapolsky's shows, said that there's been so many new and upcoming talent in Shine. It's time to give them something to aspire to. Oh God, another company with another fucking belt. Shine's introducing a Nova Championship with the first champ to be crowned over the July 13th, 14th weekend. I'm guessing that's going to be possibly 2 shows back to back, because that'll be in or around the unofficial female fight season, because the weekend before is Shimmer. And then Lufisto retained over Leva Bates with a Burning Hammer to retain the Shine World title. The following day, WSU's battle tested in the afternoon on Saturday. Jordan Grace beat Faye Jackson. Now, the tag match, Penelope Ford wasn't cleared to wrestle because of a pre-existing injury, which is interesting because I think she's wrestling this weekend in another promotion. I can't remember which, but we'll get to it. So it was a 2-on-1 handicap match with Maria Manic versus the Fella Twins. Maria won. So even though Penelope was injured, she's still considered one half of the tag champs with Maria. So the Fella Academy are now the Fella champions. We also had Lufisto beat Willow Nightingale. Kira Hogan beat Lana Austin to retain the Spirit title. Mercedes Martinez retained the world title over Nevaeh. And the Reckoning beat Team Lever in the War Games match. And then we get to CZW. So we had the Private Party beat the Dub Boys. And then afterwards, the Dub Boys beat the shit out of Private Party. So that did them well. Then Maxwell Jacob Feinstein beat Johnny Uma to become the new Wired champ. Afterwards, Feinstein ditched his girlfriend / wife, I guess it's just girlfriend, Maria, to the curb, but she slapped him and then walked off. Zack Sabre Jr. beat David Starr. Then Shane Strickland beat Sami Callihan. Afterwards, there was a promo on the Tron of Ace Austin, then showed up, got beaten down by both Shane and Sami. Then Storm of Entrails came to the ring, ready to beat up Austin, but then the Awakening hit the ring, made the save, and then Masada said, "Enough's enough. I'm in Torment of Death." That's a clusterfuck. Then, new CZW World Champion Lio Rush beat Joe Gacy. And then the main event, Matt Tremont beat Joey Janela. And then afterwards, Joey quit CZW and is done with David John Markland. So now we know DJ Hyde's real name. There might be a reason why Janela's done with him, because I think Janela was trying to position himself as a guy, to possibly run the company. Because of obviously the spring break stuff. Well, that's not going to happen, because it was announced soon after, and certainly made official now by CZW, that Sami Callihan is head of CZW Creative now. And that Feinstein and Lio Rush's wins were just the start of it. DJ will be taking care of the business dealings, and Callihan will just be in charge of creative along with his team. That probably, I'm guessing, means Jessica, I'd have thought, might be in charge of creative for the women. I don't know. It might just be CZW, though, so it might not be. He's still going to be in charge of Pro Wrestling Revolver as well. Also, it's interesting that most of the mainstream sort of sites, the news sites, are saying that the idea is that they're going to be toning down the violent stuff. They'll still be doing Torment of Death and Cage of Death and, Tangled Web and stuff like that. But it's not going to be a focus.
Guys, that stuff hasn't been a focus in this company for about 3 years. I hope you got the memo 3 years ago.
Yeah. Why else would Drew Gulak become CZW World Champion? And Biff Busick, for that matter. And Lio Rush. I mean, admittedly, that's under the new regime, but, not the usual hardcore guys are becoming champions. I think that tells you it's not the same thing. The reason why I mentioned that and I haven't mentioned the Alpha One show is Alpha One, I think, got very fucking interesting. Which I think we now know what flag Ethan Page nails to the pole. So they had their Immortal Kombat 5 show. Opened up with Alex Daniels beating Tracy Williams in Hamilton, Ontario. The Virus retained their tag belts against Big and Dirty of Rex Atkins and Brute Van Slyke. Alessandro Del Bruno beat John Silver to retain the Zero Gravity title. Then afterwards, Jade Chung, the manager, actually got in the ring for action and won, actually beating Beautiful B. In the Falls Count Anywhere grudge match, Space Monkey beat Jim Nye, the science guy, but not that one. Kobe Durst retained the Alpha Male title over Joey Janela. And then the clusterfuck. So the Outer Limits title was on the line, which Ethan Page won on the last show. Ethan Page retained over Guarini, Daniel C. Rockingham, Eric Carney, Joey Kings, Josh Rogan, Mark Wheeler, Shane Saber, Young Miles, and Maxwell Jacob Feinstein. Afterwards, I guess from one of the previous matches or whatever, Feinstein asked for a rematch for the title, and Maxwell Jacob Feinstein won and is the new Outer Limits title champion. Except there was then another challenge issued by Joey Janela, and lo and behold, Joey Janela beat Feinstein, and he is the Outer Limits champion. You think that happened because of CZW, Owen?
I think that might be a good bet.
The fact that the title changed twice in the space of probably 20 minutes? And then the dog collar match, Ricky Shane Page beat Gregory Iron. And that was the main event. Yes. So for this weekend, thankfully not as crazy as it's going to be next weekend. God damn it. Fight Club Pro. Actually, it's worth noting here, Fight Club Pro normally is in the Fix'em warehouse, but after a year, they've had to move out, basically because it's not big enough now. They're so popular, they're having to do bigger venues, so they've moved to the Starworks warehouse in Wolverhampton. Also, the interesting thing about it is there's actually disabled access to the thing. So I know some of the disabled people that went to the Fixin' shows were a bit unhappy about. So it's certainly more accessible for everyone. It's also, from what I remember from everybody talking about it on social media, they're pleased because it's actually still near a car park. So on the card, the Hunter Brothers versus FSU of Mandrews and Eddie Dennis. CCK of Monday Lycos and Chris Brooks take on Scarlett and Graves. There's a 6-man challenge with Joe Coffey, Jimmy Havoc, Angelico, Wolfgang, Jordan Devlin, and Dan Maloney. In a fans bring the alcohol match, it'll be Shea Purser versus the Session Moth. Kaylee Ray versus Chris Wolf. That should be a very good match. Chris has been pretty good on the Stardom scene, and she now gets a chance to shine in the UK. And Travis Banks defends the Fight Club Pro title against Trent Seven. If you're wondering where the other two are, they're in Chicago. CWF Mid-Atlantic, Madness in Any Direction is their show this weekend at the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium in Gibsonville. The entire card is devoted to first-time ever matches, interestingly. So we've got Kane Justice, the wrestler, versus Cecil Scott, the announcer. Also, it's man versus woman as Ethan Sharp takes on Sis. Eric Andrews defends the TV title against Joshua Cutshall. Chet Sterling puts the Ultra J Championship up on the line against Logan Easton LaRue. Nick Richards will be apparently talking as he takes on the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champ, whoever it may be, at the next show in June. More than likely it'll be Trevor Lee, I'd have thought. Chip Day makes his first appearance since going for the Mid-Atlantic title a couple of months back. Also set to be part of the show, but not mentioned in terms of matches, along with Trevor Lee. Zayn and Dave Dawson, the tag champs. Eric Royal and Will Wilkins are the All-Stars. Dirty Daddy and Snooty Fox. Mecha Mercenary and Aaron Biggs. So that makes me think a 4-way for the tag titles. Oh, wait, the Carnies are in as well. 5-way. Handsome Mitch Connor, Duke Joint Lucas Calhoun, the Proletariat Boar of Moldova, the filmmaker Movie Mike, Timmy Danger, and the debuting Kevin Koo. Or Q, I don't know how it's pronounced. House of Hardcore is going to be in the Sports Arena in St. James, New York, this Friday. On the card, in action but not listed for matches yet, God, this is a name. Or list of names, sorry. Paul James, Velvet Sky, Little Guido, Bender Beast Ortiz, Pat Buck, Stupid Matt Striker. That's what it actually says on House of Hardcore's thing. I don't know. Alex Reynolds, Maxwell Jacob Einstein, because we can't call him Feinstein, with Maria, so that's a bit awkward. Vic Delicious with Double Dupree's, Rhett Titus, TJ Marconi, some surprises, and the Drunkard Sandman. That's good to know. Bully Rays issued an open challenge to anybody in the world. Dan Maff faces Moose. The Squad, which is the Spirit Squad, except they can't be called that, versus Team Tremendous. And Tommy Dreamer takes on Cody Rhodes. We've also got this Friday Yoldi Wrestling having their Speakeasy Spectacular at Mahall's in Lakewood, Ohio. Ticket to $15 if you walk up on the day. More details can be found on Old Wrestling's Facebook page. If you want to know how to spell old, it's OLDE. You put an E on the end of how most people would spell it. The only match that we know is the World Championship, because there is only one belt, remember, is up for grabs with Matt Cross defending against Matt Classic. So a Matthew will win. Also on the card will be Bruno Babyface Moretti, Derek Oster, Felino de Rojo, the lobbying legislators, Britt Baker, Judge Hugo Lexington Black, Agent Dick J. Lahart, Marion Fontaine, Jock Sampson, Gregory Iron, and Colt Cabana. Boom and a boom. PWX this Sunday. What lies beneath? Does it have Harrison Ford in it, though? I don't know. At the Cabarrus Arena and Event Center in Concord, North Carolina. There will be tickets on the door available on the day of the show. Teddy Long's going to be the special guest for this one. And on the card, I'm guessing there might be a title match in here, but it don't say what they are. Darius Lockhart versus Tracer X. Ugly Ducklings take on the Syndicate. Jake Manning versus White Mike. Corey Hollis one-on-one with David Starr. Elijah Evans IV taking on James Drake. Jonathan Gresham faces John Schuyler. And Anthony Henry versus Ethan Case. Beyond Wrestling has a double header in Somerville, Massachusetts at the Arts at the Armory venue. So the afternoon show, the Brick House Women's Show, features Maria Manic and Penelope Ford in action, but not listed. MJ Jenkins versus Vanity. Hot Scoop Skyler versus Solo Darling. Bobby Hayden versus Alexis. Chelsea Green taking on Vader Scott. Tessa Blanchard versus Jordan Grace. And Taylor Hendricks versus Rachel Ellering. And then the Beyond Wrestling evening show entitled Please Don't Die. Chuck Neal is facing somebody. I don't know if it's from the Joey Janela. It says Joey Janela. The what do you call it? Spring break thing, which I'm a bit confused by. Mikey Webb versus Wheeler Tutor. Dan Barry versus Rex Lawless. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's got so many names, this guy. Taking on the returning Bucks Belmar. Tabernacle Team versus 3XL. AR Fox versus Brandon Watts. Jonathan Gresham versus Jordan Grace. EYFBO face the Gentleman's Club. Sammy Callahan takes on John Silver. And Paul London versus David Starr, among others. And then Freelance Wrestling. This is the double header with the show, well, at least for the Evolve 84 show. So this is 8 o'clock local time at the Bowen Eagles Club, entitled We've Had Enough. On that card, there's a number one contenders 20-man battle royal. I guess that's the number one contender to the world title. There's also a 6-man scramble with Thunder Frog, Scott Story, Brew Baker, Alex Olson, Matt Nixon, Kobe Durst. Superiority Complex face Robert Anthony, Eric Cannon in tag action. In a Falls Count Anywhere match, it's Ethan Page versus the Space Monkey. We've also got Isaias Velasquez versus Austin Theory, Stevie Fierce versus Matt Cage. And interestingly, a mixed tag match for both the freelance wrestling title and the ROW women's title, as GPA and Kylie Ray team up to take on Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan. And that stuff. Oh, actually, sorry, that's Friday at the Bow and Eagles Club. Saturday is the actual show being done in the same venue as Evolve is in Summit, Illinois. It's freelancing co-production with Resistance Pro, producing the Battle of Chicago. So there's 3 matches from Resistance and 3 matches from Freelance. And then the main event is an 8-man tag, sort of combining the two of sorts. So from Freelance, we've got Isaias Velasquez versus Kobe Durst. Team Beta of Mitchell, Nixon, Sutra take on Matt Cage, Joey Ryan, and Chris Castro. And then a 6-person scramble with Alex Olson, Space Monkey, Acid Jazz, Giassi, Travis Titan, and Dante Leon. Then Resistance matches, Hardcore Ever Owens in women's action. Doesn't say against who. The Resistance Pro tag titles held by the Main Street Youth defend against Mojo McQueen and Yabo the Clown. The Resistance Pro heavyweight title is also up for grabs. Cobra defends against Daniel Eads, or Eads, I'm not sure. And then the main event is an 8-man tag. Darren Corbin, Ethan Page, Willie the Bomb Richardson, which is that Willie Mack? I don't know. If he's got my surname, that means he's a god. And Cody Jones. Taking on Shug D, Eric Cannon, John Schuyler, and Madman Pondo. And I think that's it. Oh, something worth mentioning as well, because I forgot, because we talked about Alpha One Wrestling earlier. Cody's going there. In a Star Wars related poster for some reason. And the show's also entitled Do or Do Not, There Is No Try. The Virus, who was, if I can go back to my stuff and get the names for you, if I can find it, Gavin Quinn and Josh Alexander defend against 2 stars, which is Ethan Page and Cody Rhodes. Actually, if you look at the posters, Ethan's done a good job of making Cody look Star Wars. Although there is actually a weird bit in which the Cody's like Luke Skywalker and Ethan Page is Yoda on his back. There's some interesting photoshopping in those stuff. Just go to Alpha One Wrestling or Ethan Page and you'll see them. They're unique. I think that's a word. So aside from that, I think, holy shit, Owen, we basically went 3 hours.
Yep. We're done.
Amazing.
That's going to be your show. Thank you to Daniel Price for showing up tonight. Jeremy Mills showed up. I saw Logan was in here for a bit.
Technically, everybody was here, even though they weren't.
Right. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash's My Name UK. I don't know what I'm talking about gaming in terms of stuff. It might not be anything because I might be knackered from 3-4 straight days of wrestling. Then again, I might just be knackered outright because of sleep patterns and everything. I'm amazed I haven't tried to go to sleep throughout this entire thing, despite the fact I'm sort of running on empty and fumes and whatever. Something will be up. Yeah.
Right.
Also, and I'm saying this for the first time here, even though I've said it in the videos I've recorded, I've done 2 more sip and snacks. But they're only coming when Owen is desperate for content.
Oh, good.
What I'm hoping is they'll be coming like in the next few weeks or even the next few months when you least expect it. He'll just be sprung on you like gang, 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 just like.
All right. So, wrestling fans, stay tuned for this week. We've got our United Kingdom special podcast on Friday night, about 9:30 p.m.
We're doing it for the special because it's feature length and also because it ties into NXT,
Right.
and also because we've heard good things about it.
Yes.
Whether they show any of the other ones in terms of an actual sort of weekly thing, it depends when it actually is happening.
Right.
You know, if it's the wrong time, it might just basically just merge into the weekly, weekly update sort of thing.
So that will be on Friday. We have NXT TakeOver Chicago on Saturday. Popcast following right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And Backlash Popcast following afterwards on Sunday.
Definitely.
Also, we have Sip and Snack returning later today. AJ gets the weekend, as always. We've got a new episode of Fargo to review for AJ's television reviews. The release of Alien Covenant for AJ's movie reviews, and a special versus coming up on Sunday.
Ooh, it's special. Hang on. May 21st. It's probably Animal Kingdom Let's Go Ape.
Oh, God.
With the North, which is worse.
Oh, dear God. So, once again, follow Logan on Twitter at LoganBurton10. Follow Pedro at Evil Takes Root. Acer at Acer5000 on YouTube and on Twitter at Acer1337. Yes, in a row for all the podcasts should be listening to, wrestling and or otherwise. And like I said, shout out to Jeremy Mills and Daniel Price in chat. And links to their channels are in the description bar below. We have a Facebook fan page. It is at Popcast Network or Sir Owen Disney and Popcast Network. Merch available at Zazzle at Popcast Network. I have a Patreon at Popcast Network. And yes, we have a Twitter at Popcast Network. And I have a personal Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. So, in the meantime, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more this evening you have chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
So I'm guessing the likelihood of a Sami Callihan versus Joey Janela match is none.
Not in CZW.